ABC Sports presents from the Superdome in New Orleans, the 1982 Sugar Bowl game, matching the Pitt Panthers and the Georgia Bulldogs. Led by two of the nation's fine young coaches. On the left, Pittsburgh's Jackie Sherrill. On the right, Mitch Dooley of Georgia. The respective offenses led by brilliant players. Pittsburgh's quarterback Dan Marino and the great running back for the Bulldogs, Herschel Walker. Head up in the Sugar Bowl for 82. The Superdome is full of folks as number 8 ranked Pittsburgh and number 2 Georgia will go after each other, both of them 10-1 on the 1981 season. It's colored red and black for Georgia, blue and gold for Pitt. This is the 48th playing of the Sugar Bowl game. It has been a typical holiday weekend in New Orleans, excessive for some, I suppose, just right for others. The dances have been danced, the songs have been sung, and now it is time to play the game. And for the 5th time in the last 6 years, the Sugar Bowl game will have a bearing on which team claims the National Collegiate Football Championship. And this ABC Sports Exclusive is brought to you by Chevrolet and your local Chevy dealer, who invites you to come in and see the all-new Celebrity and Camaro. Chevy makes good things happen. By Johnson & Johnson, the makers of Johnson Baby Shampoo. Johnson's Baby Shampoo, gentle enough to use every day, from Johnson & Johnson. Happy New Year, everybody. I'm Keith Jackson, and all of us at ABC Sports hope that 1982 is going to be a dandy for you. Let's talk about number 1. We have matched up here numbers 2 and 8 in the national poll. Georgia figuring if they can beat the Pitt Panthers, and if Nebraska can handle Clemson in the Orange Bowl tonight, then the Georgia Bulldogs would try to repeat as the national champions. Incidentally, there have been only 2 teams do that in the UPI coaches poll. The Texas team back in 1955 and 56, and the Oklahoma teams in 69 and 70. There have been 8 repeaters in the AP poll. The Clemson Tigers, if they can beat Nebraska in the Orange Bowl, you've got to vote the Tigers number 1. Georgia was in the same fix a year ago right here in the Sugar Bowl. All they had to do to be number 1 when it was all done was beat Notre Dame. They did. They got the vote. That's the sort of circumstance that Clemson faces tonight in Miami, Florida. The Georgia Bulldogs, on the other hand, figure that they can handle the Pittsburgh Panthers and Nebraska handles Clemson. Well, who knows? This afternoon over in Dallas, number 5 Texas beat number 3 Alabama 14-12 with a second half comeback. And earlier today, in case you didn't hear, Penn State defeated Southern California by a score of 26-10 in the Fiesta Bowl. Now, we all know in closely contested football games between teams that are relatively even, defense is your bottom line. But the more provocative subject always is offense. Who leads the offense? And what's it going to do? That's, I guess, where most people expect excitement to come from. Well, Dan Marino, the Pittsburgh quarterback, is only a junior. He already holds 10 school passing records, whereas Herschel Walker on the right is just tearing up the record book. Herschel Walker will be seen here in some plays, and underneath you'll see some quotes from knowledgeable men in the game of football whose opinions in assessing talent are highly respected. But let's consider this fellow Walker for a moment. He's only a sophomore. He has set 15 Georgia records, 8 Southeastern records, and 6 NCAA records. This will be his 24th consecutive game. In 23 previous games, including the Sugar Bowl last year, he has run for 3,657 yards, and he has scored 37 touchdowns. He is truly quite a remarkable football player. Right now, let's say Happy New Year to Coach Frank Broyles. With us is our analyst and commentator, and for all of his old friends around the country, he's promised that he will publish his real handicap. Coach, Happy New Year.
Thank you, Keith, and same to you.
Let's talk about this Georgia football team now. We just saw Herschel Walker running the ball. Let's talk about what Pittsburgh's got to do to handle this big kid.
Well, Keith, Herschel Walker has already been acclaimed the fastest big player ever to play the game. And I think it's unrealistic to think you can stop him. You must think in terms of slowing him down, hold his gains to a very minimum. And I look for Pittsburgh to build a picket fence on the outside and funnel Herschel to the inside where those linebackers and ends can gang tackle him. That will slow him down.
All right, now Georgia is not a one-legged football team as the Bulldogs come out of the tunnel. Let's listen to the crowd and see the Dogs come in for just a moment. And from the other end come the Pitt Panthers. a fair word, trounced by Penn State 48-14. Now, let's go back to the assessment of these two teams with Coach Frank Broyles. Georgia is not a one-legged football team. They have a quarterback, Buck Bellew, who had a marvelous year, and wide receiver, Lindsey Scott, who had a dream year.
Well, Keith, extraordinary football players Herschel Walker is. I think Georgia's hopes rest in the passing of Buck Bellew. He's a winner. He started 29 football games for Georgia. They've won 27. The team has confidence in him. He has good escapability, a crisp arm, and if he can get the ball to Lindsey Scott, who has great speed, is a big playmaker, a good leaper, then Georgia has the best chance to win.
All right, the Pittsburgh Panthers now live with the blade fundamentally. They throw the ball. They depend on that big fella at quarterback, Dan Marino.
Well, Dan Marino is a brilliant quarterback. He has a strong arm. He can read the defenses. He's thrown for 34 touchdown passes. And, Keith, all coaches are in accord that a pass rush is paramount to a good pass defense. So Georgia must devise some method to pressure Marino, to get their hands up in the face, to make him throw hurry so their secondary can be close to him and maybe break up the pass or intercept it. If they don't, and Marino has plenty of time, it'll be a long day for the Bulldogs.
Well, then Marino has been intercepted 21 times, which sort of tells me that he has a tendency to force that ball sometimes.
He very definitely does. He has so much confidence in the velocity of the ball that he thinks he can throw the ball before the defensive backs can break on it. But he learned the lesson. He got a good education against Penn State, and I look for him to be very patient today.
They've got running, too, at Pittsburgh.
Well, I think that Pittsburgh needs to run the football for two reasons. One, Brian Thomas has rushed for over 1,000 yards. He can make yardage on his own. And secondly, if he can make yardage up the middle, Keith, this will slow down the Georgia rush and give Marino more time to select his receiver.
Where's the edge in the kicking game, Frank?
The edge goes with Georgia. They have an all-conference kicker, the freshman sensational Butler, and an outstanding punter. And if the defenses prevail, Keith, then Georgia has a big edge.
Okay. That's enough preamble. They flipped the coin. They're going to put it on the tee, and we're going to watch it with you in just a moment.
Heisman Trophy winner Marcus Allen and BYU passing sensation Jim McMahon lead the West against the East's best in the Hula Bowl on ABC's Wide World of Sports after the season premiere of the Pro Bowlers Tour, January 9th on ABC.
We're ready for the kickoff. The Georgia Bulldogs will receive it. There are two tailbacks who are back there. The tailbacks are Herschel Walker and Carney Norris. Norris is number 36. Walker is number 34. And Eric Schubert will kick it off for the Pitt Panthers. And we're ready to go. There is Schubert, number 1. Dave Heffler, the Pittsburgh Panther punter, busted a knee in the ball game against Penn State. He was not able to play in this one. The kickoff goes way back into the end zone where Herschel Walker will put it down. And so the Georgia Bulldogs will put it into play. First down at their own 20. And here are the Georgia starters in the backfield with Buck Bellew, the fine senior. He started 29 times. He's won 27. There's Herschel Walker. Most of you know the numbers on him. Here's one of the fine blocking backs in the country. Lindsey Scott, the young wide receiver we told you about with 42 receptions. Lon Buckler is an outstanding tight end. He had a big play in the ball game against the Florida Gators in Jacksonville earlier this season. All right, here comes Georgia now. Up out of the I formation, double wide to the left side from the 20. Buck Bellew gives the ball to Herschel, and he is cut down right on the line of scrimmage. They drop him right at the 20. Now here are the offensive people up front for the Georgia Bulldogs. It's a little bit makeshift because some people are hurt. Warren Gray at 239 is a sophomore. James Brown at left guard, 245 sophomore. Radloff has to go to center. Wayne's 245-pounder. Winford Hood is at left guard, 240. The right tackle is Jimmy Harper. He is a sophomore at 270. And Norris Brown, 6'3", 215, is the tight end. It is second down and still 10 for Georgia. Ball again goes to Walker. Looks for a hole on the right side. Gets it out across the 25, close to the 26, before he is brought down. The Pittsburgh defense, Chris Dolman, Dave Pizzola, J.C. Pelusi, Bill Maas, Michael Woods, linebacker Sal Sunseri, Rick Cranack. The secondary lines up with Pappy Thomas, Tim Lewis, Dan Short, and Tom Flynn.
Oh, pretty good.
Probably see Pappy Lewis working against Lindsey Scott. Scott is now wide to the bottom of the picture. It is third down, they need 4. Buck Ballew's roll out to the left side. Goes to the sideline. Goes to Scott. Gets him up at the 31. It is a first down for the Georgia Bulldogs.
Lindsey Scott has caught 42 passes. He has great speed, and Pittsburgh is playing him man for man. The reason is that they were thinking to run, had the other man inside. Lewis, number 26, tackles him as he makes the first down, good for 5 yards.
From the 31, the Bulldogs will go to work now. Buck Ballew last year against Notre Dame did not complete a pass until very late in the game. He had one completion in the Super Bowl a year ago. He's already tied that mark. Walker trying to get to the outside. This is where he gets most of his yards. But the Panthers pursue him well. And coming up out of the secondary, it's Tom Flynn, the free safety number 5, to make the good play.
Pittsburgh on that play turned Walker inside very quickly, much quicker than anybody has all season. Then Walker cut inside, back out, but pursuit caught him before he could make any yardage.
Down from the 31, Ballew back, gives it to Walker again, looks for some daylight in the middle, searching along the way, and doesn't get much out of it.
I think we should mention, as we look at Walker's numbers for this season, averaging only 4.9, but he does have 18 touchdowns. Georgia is 5th in the nation in rushing offense. Pittsburgh is number 1 in rushing defense.
Ball is sitting right on the 34. It is third down. They need 7. They're double wide to the left side. They send Walker in motion to the tight side, and Ballew straight back, getting some heat. Gets it off over the middle. He has a man, and a penalty flag goes down as the pass is completed to Norris Brown, the tight end. They dragged him short, Frank, and he was wide open.
A beautiful call by the Georgia coaches. It was a delay pattern, relatively safe, in that the tight end waited right on the line of scrimmage, let the linebacker sink deep. You can see pass interference against Pitt. It will be refused, I would think. No, they're going to take it.
It's about
deeper
a yard downfield.
It's a yard deeper than the reception.
Right. There are your officials. Ken Faulkner's the referee. Zeke Martin, Buddy Coleman, Glenn Lippman.
Automatic first down.
There's the call on it from the referee, Ken Faulkner. And now Georgia's operating on the Pittsburgh 47.
Boy, did Ballew have great poise, waited to the last minute just before he was hit hard by Michael Woods for the completion.
Clarence Kay is in now, giving Georgia a double tight end alignment. Lindsey Scott is lined up to the tight side, the bottom of the picture. On first down, the ball goes to Walker. Walker is hit at the line of scrimmage. And I mean, he is tattooed. Coming in there hard is number 55, Rick Cranack, and Bill Moss, 71.
Georgia goes to double tight end for the purpose of gaining an extra blocker. Pittsburgh coaches told me that they were going to change and go into an 8-man front from their 7-man front to try to meet this strength with strength. There's the total offense per game for Georgia. Very impressive, very impressive.
The longest run that Herschel Walker had this past season was 32 yards. There's a reason for it. We'll talk about it when we have a chance. They send Scott to the open side, give it to the up man this time, and the fullback is Ronnie Stewart, a senior out of Tampa, and he punches it down to about the 42 of Pittsburgh. So they're still short of their first down. They're going to be looking at about 3.5 to 4. Cranack made that tackle.
Cranack is the second leading tackler for the Pittsburgh Panthers. You can see he gets a quick read, comes forward, gets the shoulder, wraps up Stewart with some help from his teammates after a short gain.
It's just short of the 42. This time you've got Scott wide to the top of the picture. It's third down and a long 4, maybe 5. Buck Ballew on a roll to the right side has some time. It's picked off, and it is intercepted by Tom Flynn. As Ballew rolled out, he had 2 men to choose from. He chose the wrong one. He went for Scott, and Flynn was there.
What happened, Ballew is going to hold the ball a little bit too long to throw in the middle. You can see that he should throw on the 5th step. That's the time the receiver's open. Now Flynn is going to get a break on the ball. See, Flynn is behind Scott, but Ballew held the ball too long. Flynn makes his 5th interception possession by coming out of his front and grabbing the ball.
And Pittsburgh's in business at their own 39, their first possession, as Marino comes up with double ride to the wide side of the field. Georgia dancing around, and Marino goes back, and he may have spent his 25 seconds. Let's see. Georgia players are clapping their hands. It's a Pittsburgh infraction, apparently. Procedure against the Panthers. The offensive backfield for the Pittsburgh Panthers, as they are seen relaxing in beautiful old New Orleans. Dan Marino is your quarterback. He's a big guy, 6'4", 215. Brian Thomas, who's been their main running threat, 5'10", 185. DiBartolo is your big fullback at 212. Dwight Collins, 6'1", 210, a great leaper. Julius Dawkins, the flyer, at 6'3", 187. It's first down and 15 as the ball is moved back to the 34. Marino straight back. No pressure on him. He goes deep downfield. The pass is too long and falls harmlessly as Dawkins was on his way, but he had double coverage. The Pittsburgh offensive front. Listen to the size of these guys. Now, you won't believe it. Jimbo Covert, 279, a junior. Rob Fava, 250, a guard. Emo Boris, 265, the center. Ron Sam's guard, 269. Bill Fralick, only a freshman, 270. And the tight end is John Brown, a moderate size, 222. Second down and 15 from the 34 for the Panthers. Again, no pressure on Marino. Goes to the short man coming across at the 39. And he is caught after a 5-yard pickup, and it was the tailback coming out of the backfield, Brian Thomas.
Keith, what we're seeing is 3 or 4 men rushing the pass, and they're double teaming Jimmy Payne, number 87, the leading tackler for Georgia, 77, Covert, and also 79, double teaming. Marino had plenty of time.
Eddie Meat Cleaver Weaver's in the middle. They've been able to contain him so far as well. It is third down and 10 from the 39 for the Panthers, and the third pass in a row for Marino. All day to throw it. Now they're running him around a little bit. He still hasn't thrown it. Now he unloads it, and it is checked away. Beautiful defensive play by Terry Hogue. Terry Hogue, remember him? I'm sure all the Georgia fans do, because it was Hogue who blocked the Notre Dame field goal last year in this game. The defensive unit for Georgia: Carver, Payne, Weaver, Crow, Gilbert, Taylor, Thurston, all the linebackers in the secondary. Ronnie Harris, Dale Williams, Terry Hogue, and Steve Kelly. Tim Bobo, who played rover for the Bulldogs all year, hurt, will not play. Jimmy Harrell, there's Hogue right there, number 14. Jimmy Harrell will be your deep man to receive the punt by Pittsburgh on 4th down and 10 as Ganser comes in to kick it. Told you Dave Hepler hurt his knee in the Penn State game and is out of this. That's a bullet. Very deep. Harrell goes way back to his 6, retreats a little bit, now comes back up looking for a wedge and can't find much. The ball is up around the 12, 13-yard line. 54-yard punt.
Once again, the kicking game plays a vital role in field position, backing Georgia up to the 13-yard line.
Looks like the same alignment for the Bulldogs. Norris Brown is out at tight end. Walker, of course, is there. Ronnie Stewart at fullback. We've got a time call for a moment. Pittsburgh man is going to the sidelines. And Buck Ballou was on this side. I don't think it's a charged timeout. I think we had some equipment repair, and the officials called the timeout to get the equipment changed, and so we'll go now. First down for the Bulldogs from their own 13. No score, with 9:13 to play in the first quarter. Over in the Cotton Bowl today, number 5 Texas beat number 3 Alabama 14-12. Number 1 Clemson's playing number 4 Nebraska tonight. Number 2 and number 8 matched up here. Walker trying to come to the left side, and the whole defensive flow for Pittsburgh is right at Herschel Walker.
Pittsburgh defense has tremendous pursuit. They control the block and then go out the line of scrimmage, taking the proper angle, holding Walker to a short gain. As we look at Jackie Sherrill, who's developed already into one of the great offensive football coaches in America. What a record he's had at Pitt.
The ball is at the 16, pickup of 3, second down and 7. Walker's carried 6 times, gained 12 yards so far. Goes to Stewart, the fullback. Ronnie Stewart wiggles away from 1, gets it to the 19. Beat taken from under him there by Rick Pozzoli, Dave Pozzoli. Dave is 248-pound junior from Stamford, Connecticut. Georgia's looking at 3rd down and about 4.
I think we can expect either a run by Walker or a rollout pass by Ballou to get closer to the receivers should he try to throw the football.
It's a short 4. Scott in motion. Pittsburgh with a 6-man front. They're trying to send some folks to give it away to Walker. Walker dancing around. Muscles his way for the first down out to the 27. He picked up 7 yards on the carry. There is the greatness of Herschel Walker right there.
Keith, that was a sensational run. Very low blocking. I think Herschel has made most of his yardage on fake pass and run, where he has plenty of time. He's just sitting back. Now he sees a little daylight, but watch this. Watch him jump over the linebacker right there, number 9, the halfback Thomas, and makes the first down after Short makes the tackle.
And it's a first down for the Georgia Bulldogs at the 27 as Ballou rolls it left. Wants to put it up. Got some daylight. And the big guys are after him as Buck gets it up to the 30 and over to the 31. Well, I tell you, there was some muscle coming after him then. Belusi at 251 pounds. Moz at 260. And you get underneath those 2 big bullies, you'd know it, wouldn't you?
Yes, you would, Keith. And Pittsburgh plays a multiple defense. Here's the record for Buck Ballou for this season. That's a sensational year. He can throw the ball and he can run also. He's a good threat keeping the football, as he just showed on that last down.
Time remaining, first quarter of play. Barry Young is in at fullback for Georgia. Young is a 215-pound sophomore. Again, Pittsburgh's got 6 people up on the defensive front. They're going to be sending from the outside. They stay inside, and there's penetration there as number 63, Dave Pozzoli, locks Herschel Walker down at the line of scrimmage.
There's Vince Dooley. What a year he's had this year, and then last year, the national championship. One of the toughest things, Keith, I think, is to come back after a successful season, national championship, and have another great year. Vince has already established himself as one of the great coaches in America.
Ben didn't think he was going to have that kind of year, though, after they gave it away to Clemson 9 times and got beat pretty early in the season. But you can win if you lose early. You can't win very often in the national polls if you lose late, like Pittsburgh did in the last game of the season. Ballou on a roll to the right side, looking, and he's got nobody to throw to. Ballou is dropped for a yard for about a 4-yard loss, and it'll bring up a kicking down for the Georgia Bulldogs. Sal Sunseri, who is the leader of the Pittsburgh defense, came out there, finally ran him down.
Here's the numbers for the Pitt defense. You can see how effective they've been. Total defense, number 1. Rushing defense, number 1. Scoring defense, number 15.
And they're a bunch of babies, most of them.
Compared to the offensive line, they are, Keith.
Very young. Broadway is in the punt. Broadway booms it out of there. That is a dandy. My goodness. Genza had a 54-yarder and good downfield coverage. Good coverage by Georgia as Tom Flynn took it and took 2 steps and down he went. Well, the Pittsburgh punter hit one for 54 yards. Jim Broadway just hit one for 53 yards, and we have no score here in the first quarter. Be right back.
Heisman Trophy winner Marcus Allen and passing sensation Jim McMahon lead the West against the East. Sports.
The football is located just short of the 26-yard line. The Panthers have it in their own territory. No score in the ball game at 5:27 to go in the first quarter. They've got double wide left, single man to the right. Room put the ball on the ground with Thomas. The halfback or tailback, picked up about 3 yards as Nate Taylor came in to bring him down. In the Fiesta Bowl earlier today, Penn State jumped out big early and set on the USC Trojans 26-10, and it was a big day for Kurt Warner, as you can see, and the first game that Marcus Allen this year, 1981, has been held to under 100 yards. In the Cotton Bowl, Texas with a big comeback in the fourth quarter to beat Alabama 14-12. Second down and 7 for Pittsburgh. Marino stands up and throws to the sidelines and hits his man Thomas, and Thomas is cut down at the 35, close to the 36. That may be a Pitt first down. Dale Williams, the cornerback, came up to bring him down. In the Rose Bowl, it is now final. The Washington Huskies under Don James defeating Iowa 28-0. So I'm sure Hayden Fry and his Hawkeyes are disappointed over it, but never, ever underestimate Don James. I tell you, he has really done a coaching job out there in Seattle.
He's one of the most complete football coaches in America. Kicking game, defense, and offense. As we see the Orange Bowl score in the first quarter, I'm told in Nebraska, fumbled the first snap from center. Clemson recovered, got a field goal out of it.
All Clemson has to do is win to be number one. It's the first down of the ball game for the Panthers. The ball is at the 36. Double wide to the bottom of the picture. Give the ball to Thomas. Thomas runs it into the middle. Gets a couple. There's a great matchup going on down in the middle of that line in the trenches between Voorhees of Pittsburgh and Eddie Weaver of Georgia. I know they're busting helmets.
Well, that'd be an interesting thing to watch throughout the ball game, Keith, because Weaver weighs 285, as we saw Jackie Sherrill yelling something to his team from the sideline. And, of course, Voorhees, the center, was a former tackle, moving in there, and he weighs about 280.
Well, Weaver's in. I'm just looking in there to find him on this. I start talking about him, and don't see him. He's not in there.
Have a good holiday.
They substituted for the pass rush. Took 6 back in the ball game.
Over the middle, short to Thomas. And Brian has a Pittsburgh first down as he gets the ball out to the 48.
I think what Georgia's plans are to put fresh men in the ball game from time to time to keep good men rushing the passer. It wears you down, rushing the passer as deep as Marino drops, as you see what the placement here Dan has had for the Panthers. Keeping fresh people in the ball game to rush the pass is very important, Keith.
Now Weaver's back in there. At 3:25 to go in the first quarter and no score. Marino's 3 completions of the ball game have all been to Thomas, right side of the Panther line, jumps.
Keith, what's happening? Georgia defense are disguising their alignment until Marino puts his hands under the center. Marino is looking around, using audible, and Georgia is not showing him any defense that they're going to play. And once Marino puts his hands under the center, Georgia moves, and the offensive right guard, Sam, jumped off that. I think Marino is one of the few quarterbacks I've seen not use the audibles with his hands under the center, making the defense line up. Let's see if we can tell this. Marino is not under the center. He's looking around. Now he goes under, and Georgia moves.
Georgia's got a 4-man front right now. Behind the line of scrimmage, down goes Brian Thomas, back at the 40. And it was Jimmy Payne. Payne hasn't been able to get to the Pitt quarterback yet, but he sure did get a hold of Thomas there.
Number 87, Jimmy Payne, has the quickness and the speed, and he is the big playmaker on defense. The Georgia coaches feel when it going really gets tough, he excels, and that's a perfect example of penetrating, tackling the ball carrier for a loss.
It is back at the 41. Nickel defense in there for Georgia now on second down and long yardage. They've got to go down to the Georgia 42 to get a first down. So they're looking at 17. And Marino takes a deep drop. He hums it over the middle. He's got Dawkins out there, and Dawkins is surrounded by red shirts at the Georgia 45.
When Dan Marino plants that back foot, he throws a rocket. Dawkins, number 80, has had 15 touchdown passes. All he's trying to do is get away from the linebacker. You can see that number 14, Hogue, was trying to cover him. It was a mismatch, and Dawkins shows a little running ability right here before Hogue comes back and makes the play. 14-yard pickup.
They need just a little more than 3 for the first down. Third down and 3 plus. They go to Thomas. He's got a first down as he slashes to the Georgia 41. So now the Panthers are starting to make a little move.
Joe Young, the offensive coordinator, told me that Brian Thomas has made the offense go. Before Thomas was moved into tailback in the third ball game, the offensive linemen were discouraged, Keith. They couldn't get any yardage, and they kind of lost their confidence. But once Thomas came in the ball game, making yards on his own as he did on that last play, they picked up, and they've been sensational all season.
I think one of the things our viewers might like to do is sort of concentrate now. Keep your eye on the Pitt linemen for a bit and watch them in their pass blocking. They do not retreat block. Or they come up firing on pass blocking. Watch, those arms are pumping like pistons, and Marino with time hums it over the middle, and he hits John Brown, the tight end, and he goes for a first down at the Georgia 27.
Watch the offensive linemen protect with their hands right at the line of scrimmage, and this is a big advantage for Marino because his vision is not impaired, and he just rifles the ball to Brown for the first down. John Brown's a tight end. Caught 37 passes this year. Gets in the open area, right in the seam, and the ball is right on the target. He catches, turns downfield. Kelly misses him. Finally, he's tackled.
Ball is just inside the 28. The 9th play in this possession. It's Thomas. And Brian Thomas gets it to the 25 for about 2.5 before Tommy Thurston, a sophomore out of Jacksonville, Florida, brings him down.
Keith, I'm a little bit surprised that Pittsburgh running wide on the first down. Their coaches told me that Georgia's the best defensive team playing against the runs east and west that they have faced in over 2 years. Georgia, if they have any weakness, is running right at them.
All right, here goes your 5th defensive back, Antonio Render, number 83, a freshman out of Decatur.
3-man rush, Keith. Not going to put much pressure on Marino.
On 2nd down and 8. No chance. They swing it out to the fullback, DiBartolo. Penalty flag goes down as he gets to the 21. Dale Carver, defensive end, had dropped off in the sharp zone to make the play on him. Let's check the penalty.
Ball was touched behind the line of scrimmage. Disregard the foul. No foul.
Okay. And the first quarter has run out. So we played 15 minutes of football here at the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans. The Georgia Bulldogs ranked number 2 in the country. The Pitt Panthers ranked number 8 in the country. We have no score, but we're going to have some before the night's over. Ready for the second quarter of play at the Superdome in New Orleans. 48th playing of the Sugar Bowl game with no score between Pitt and Georgia. It is 3rd down and 4 for Pittsburgh. Marino checking off to the left, then the right. Hands the ball off to the fullback. The fullback, DiBartolo, goes for the first down. He's close to it. He's close to it. Bill Fralick, the big right tackle, the freshman, 270-pounder, was leading him.
Here are the first quarter stats. Pittsburgh 4 first downs, Georgia 3. Just as we expected, Georgia leads in rushing. Pittsburgh in passing. Total yards, Pittsburgh. Offensive plays, Georgia. Time of possession, Georgia. One key factor, the turnover. Marino is 6 out of 8 in the first quarter for 52 yards, and he's been very patient, Keith.
The measurement, I'll let you watch it, and you heard the roar while Frank was talking there from the Georgia crowd. It is a Pittsburgh first down, and the crowd reacting as the public address announcer gave the score out of the Orange Bowl, and that score is Nebraska 7, Clemson 3.
One thing that Jackie Sherrill told me, that they learned a lesson going for the big play against Penn State, that they were going to be patient today, take whatever Georgia gave them. If it was short passes, they were going to throw and run for the extra yardage.
It's a first down for the Panthers at the Georgia 17. Collins has come left with Dawkins. Marino going right to the sidelines on a timeout. I would think right here, Frank, that Marino is going over to talk to Jackie Sherrill about what Georgia's doing, because as he's checking off, then the Georgia defense is jumping around and they're not giving any kind of a set. So we've got a Pitt timeout. On the first snap, Clemson getting away with 3 points on a field goal. Nebraska coming back to take the lead 7-3. Georgia can handle Pittsburgh. They conceivably could win a national championship for the second year in a row if Nebraska can handle Clemson. Of course, that's a big if, and right now Georgia's biggest problem is handling Pittsburgh. The Panthers setting a timeout. Looked like you had a check off there as Marino goes back to throws to the sidelines. Georgia defensive man fell down, but as he went down, he was able to get a hold. Steve Kelly it is. He got Dawkins by the leg, and he only got about 1 yard on the play. Sports Beat, the Superstars, USA versus the World, and ABC's Wide World of Sports on Sundays, starting next week, January through March. At USA versus the World, an amateur competition between American athletes in swimming, gymnastics, boxing, and wrestling, with just what it says, the world. Marino now 7 out of 9 for 54 yards. He's hit 6 in a row. He has not hit a big one yet. Second down. And Marino gives it off inside to the fullback, DiBertolo. And a penalty flag goes down. The penalty flag was thrown away from the line of scrimmage, however. Number 42, knifed in there, Will Forch to make the tackle for Georgia. We have an illegal procedure call. It's against Pittsburgh.
It would be a tough decision for the Georgia coaches whether to decline the penalty. Let's see, Keith, it would be it would be third down and about 7, or second down and 12. I think that the official has gone over to talk to Jackie Sherrill. It must be that someone was lining up off sides. I didn't see anybody move.
No, I didn't either. And it was a linesman that threw it. Pitt's been flagged 4 times already for 20 yards. Georgia accepts the penalty and moving it back to the 21.
Illegal motion. Up and in. Second down.
We're in the second quarter of play with no score. The statistics for Pittsburgh in 1981. You can see they do use the blade. Render is in now, joining the secondary, so Georgia's got 5 defensive backs. Only 3 down linemen. That's Brown, the tight end, in motion. They give the ball to Thomas. Thomas isn't going anywhere. Number 71 steps in there, Kevin Jackson. Kevin Jackson is the young man who steps in behind Eddie Weaver. He's a junior out of Cartersville, and he's a little quicker maybe than Eddie, and he goes in on certain defensive sets. That time he was in the right place, right time.
Keith, he was slanting to the inside, and he came from the opposite side to make the play, and it was a big play for Georgia. Just a big play.
It is third down now, and the football is back at the 23. Georgia again with 3 down linemen. And again, Marino going to spend another timeout.
Keith, the reason for that, the noise level was so high he could not get the message to his wide receiver. He wanted to change the play, and he couldn't get the words to the receiver.
And under those circumstances, he is not entitled to help from the official. Because he had them flanked so far out, there was no way in the world that they could hear him. And so, Pittsburgh has 1 timeout remaining in the first half with 12:36 to play.
A strike of victory spares no defeat. Celebrate the 20th anniversary season of the Pro Bowlers Tour beginning January 9th at a special early time on ABC.
All right, they've had their conversation on the sideline now, and let's see if they change some of the offensive tactics. The football is sitting back just beyond the Georgia 23. It is third down. They can get a first down if they can get to the Georgia 7. They need 16 for the first.
You can see Marino, he's signaling, watch it, he's signaling the play to the wide receiver.
Georgia fans have picked up on it too, boy, and they're all over him on it. Penalty flags all over the place now. Marino goes down, but there was movement along the pit line, and when there was movement on the pit line, the Georgia man just came after him.
We should repeat again, once an offensive lineman takes his blocking position, if he moves, it's a dead ball foul, and the play is over. The wide receiver moves, and the right tackle moves.
Yeah, right tackle moves.
The defensive man can charge the neutral zone and then get back.
Flags on Pittsburgh now. 5 times they've been flagged, and one of them, I think it's been a procedure call.
He's very definitely, Jackie Sherrill is complaining to the official, Buddy Coleman of the Southwest Conference, that the noise level should be lowered by the referee to prevent the quarterback, to allow the quarterback, I should say, to hear calling signals and his teammates hear it.
But what are your parameters now? If you come up there, let's listen to the call. That's procedure. If you come up and send a man 30 yards away from you, what are the parameters on calling for help?
Keith, I think that's a good point. I don't think you have to allow that wide receiver to hear. I think those men close by are the only ones that the rule would affect. Georgia has a 3-man rush, defending with 8.
Now Faulkner steps in. This has got to shake you up a little bit, though, Greg. They're knocking on the door, and now you're backing up the wrong way.
Very definitely, as we look at Jackie Sherrill, he is disturbed. The Georgia players are telling their fans to quieten down because Georgia can be assessed a penalty if they aren't quiet.
That woke up Vince Dooley, though, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
Vince is, I bet you anything that Vince is saying, now look, they're sending a man 30 yards from the snap of the ball. What are you doing?
Well, it's up to the judgment of the referee. The referee alone makes that decision. It isn't made by the quarterback of the offensive team by just backing away.
All right, let's see if we can get one off now. The ball has been moved back to beyond the 28. So they need 21 yards for their first down. No score in the ball game. Again, they've got a man way wide.
Georgia again is rushing just 3 men.
Marino's going to get a little heat this time. He gets outside of it, throws it short. He's got DiBartolo out there. He's going to go for a first down, close to it. They got him at about the 8. He had flooded that zone over there, and with Collins wide, he had taken a good deal of the coverage with him, leaving the fullback open coming out of the backfield.
Keith, I think it's a little bit short of a first down. It's a 20-yard gain. It's going to be 4th and 1. Let's see what Jackie Sherrill wants to do. I believe on the last play, Georgia's secondary busted the coverage. No one covered DiBartolo, the fullback.
But the other factor to remember, too, they're going to go, is that Georgia really didn't get any pressure on Marino again. It is 4th down and about a yard at the Georgia 8.
Marino's trying to give the signal.
Going to throw it. He looked at Dawkins. He fell down. Throws in the end zone. No! It is knocked away. The Bulldogs had held. Dale Williams knocked it down. He looked at Dawkins in the corner, and Julius fell down. That took him out of the pattern. He had to come back to the deep man, and it was almost but not quite.
Dwight Collins, number 32, is one of the sensational football players that Pitt has as wide receiver. He runs a 4-3. Dale Williams played some last year, number 9. Watch it all the way. The struggle, because Marino has plenty of time. But watch this arm. Watch him get his left arm in front and deflect the ball. That's a sensational play by Dale Williams, number 9, to prevent the touchdown as we see it. A happy young man.
And Georgia takes over on its 8. They dodged the bullet right there. They had that ball for 13 plays and came away empty. Herschel Walker across the 10, out to the 12. Pittsburgh had the ball for 13 plays, 8 minutes and 50 seconds. They're down on the 8 and don't score.
Well, Keith, we can only say that a passing team has difficulty in putting the ball into the end zone when they get close, because the defense has less yardage to cover, less area to cover, and it makes it tough. And Williams just made a sensational play to prevent the touchdown.
Double tight end in there now. On 2nd down and 6, Kay goes in to join Brown. Fullback, Stewart. Maybe a yard. He banged right into Pelusi and Maz. 7-3 Clemson, first quarter, trailing Nebraska as the number 1 team got out in front 3-0. But then Nebraska came back to score the touchdown and take the lead. But Georgia right now is totally preoccupied. They can't be concerned about what's going on down in Miami.
Well, when you're on your own 10-yard line against the Pittsburgh defense, you got problems.
You betcha. On 3rd down and 5. Ballou gives to Walker. Walker to their 15, maybe short of the first down. Bulldogs have got to kick it away. That'll bring in Jim Broadway. Michael Woods and Bill Moss stop Walker.
Georgia very desperately needed to make a first down to keep possession of football. They need to keep their defense off the field. I'm sure the Georgia defense after that 13-play drive a little bit tired. They didn't make it. Good defense by Pittsburgh.
Tom Flynn is the beat man. Jim Broadway, the punter for Georgia. Flynn standing back on his own 45. Broadway gets it out. It's a pretty good kick. Back to the 42 goes Flynn. Fumble. Georgia's got it. Comes out of there with it for the Georgia Bulldogs. It looks like it was 84. That's Clarence Kay, the tight end on the kick coverage team.
You can see Flynn, number 5, gets the ball stripped out of his hand, but watch play. I mean, Kay, number 84, the tight end, a good athlete, just picks it up. The ball has to be brought back to where he first recovered it. But it's Georgia's ball, a big break.
He went down, looked like right on that ball, and about 9 people hit on top of him, and it looks like he's hurt his rib cage. It's first down for the Bulldogs. The ball is on the Georgia 49. Big break for them. And Ballou gives to Walker, and Walker is carried back on the 45. A little searching move he was making. I don't think the defense is going to give him room to be doing a whole lot of spectating looking for a hole. They're going to get after it. Pro Bowlers Tour comes up Saturday at 2:30 Eastern with your old friend Chris Schenkel. Nelson Burton Jr. and ABC's Wide World of Sports is coming Saturday. We'll bring you the Hula Bowl from Hawaii.
Keith, as I said at the top of the show, if Georgia wants to win, they're going to have to do it by passing. Walker cannot do it alone.
That's the second time in a ball game that Herschel has been hit for a loss. He's carried 11 times, gained only 23 yards. Right side of the Georgia line move. Number 75, Jimmy Harper, the right tackle, moved 1 count too soon.
Keith, one thing that's concerned me, and I'm sure Vince Dooley, as we look at the total yards so far in the ball game, is Georgia's inexperienced offensive line. Believe it or not, they have 4 sophomores starting. That's Clarence Kay, the one who recovered the fumble. 4 sophomores and 1 junior playing against the Pittsburgh defense that is first in the nation against the rush and first in the nation in total defense. That's a tough assignment for a group of young sophomores.
Ball is put down back at the Georgia 42. Oh, they're looking at second down at about 17. Send Scott in motion. Ballou back. Has some time. Now he's going to run for some yardage, and he's going to get some. And he's out of bounds at about the Pittsburgh 46.
Ballou this year has become a scrambler. Last year he didn't want to keep the football. This year he has more confidence. George Hafner, the quarterback coach, offensive coordinator, deserves a great deal of credit for bringing along Buck Ballou as a scrambler and a more consistent passer. Last year, 49% completion. This year, 60.
They're looking at 3rd and 5. From the Pitt 46. 5-man front up there defensively for the Panthers. Ballou back. Gets his pass over the middle. The pass is complete to Walker. Shakes off 2 men. 3 men. Inside the 15. Nope, stepped on the chalk at the 15. 31-yard gallop by Walker.
Herschel Walker is an incredible. But watch this. This is something that Georgia added against Florida. A short pass over the line of scrimmage. Now watch this. Watch him attack the blocker. The tackler. He just breaks the tackle. Now another one comes. Pittsburgh player comes up. And finally, short number 29 knocks him down.
All right, the ball is down at the Pittsburgh 15-yard line. First down for the Georgia Bulldogs. fullback, and Ronnie Stewart for a couple. Trying to slide off the corner, and Tom Flynn came up to greet him and got some help from Chris Goldman, who's a 6'6", 220-pound freshman. The first guy that hit him back there, Walker, on the previous play was Sunseri first and then Cranack, and he shook both the linebackers right off.
And Sunseri's an All-American football player. But we'll talk more about Herschel Walker. Herschel Walker, one of the most incredible football players I have ever seen play.
Second down and 8 from the Panther 13. Ballou gives to Walker. Penalty flags all over the field. Walker trying to get around the corner, get outside. He does. But not a lot there. He's down to about the 8, but let's see about the penalty.
Keith, while we're setting up the penalty, I want to discuss that Georgia has changed all of their blocking schemes to accommodate Walker.
It's going to be a Pittsburgh penalty.
By that, I mean the offensive linemen do not go downfield. If the play is called to the right, the left side stays in and block because Walker runs anywhere across the line that he wants to. He seldom runs where the play was designed. The last play was a perfect illustration. The play was designed to go over the middle. Walker outruns everybody to the boundary by bouncing outside. Walker is just finishing his sophomore year. After only 17 games, he broke the all-time Georgia rushing record.
Pittsburgh had put in a goal line defense. They had Froelich come in there, the big freshman, to play defense, an offensive tackle starter. But now they have sent Tom Flynn back into the lineup.
Offside, defense, second down.
So the ball moves on down to the 8-yard line of Pittsburgh. Second down, Georgia can get a first down just short of the 5.
We want to remember that Herschel Walker is one of the best in America at going over the top on short yardage or goal line situations.
That's because the Georgia offensive front blocks down, right
on the ground, Keith. Get on the pads of the defense.
Going to the right side. He's at the 5, the 4. Touchdown!
To watch the sense of timing that Herschel Walker has. He's going for the boundary, but watch him hesitate right here. He hesitates. The defenders overrun him 1-2, and then he accelerates into the end zone for the touchdown. Sensational run.
Butler is in now for the extra point try. Broadway, the punter, does the holding. And Kevin Butler trying to give Georgia a 7-0 lead. Great effort by the Panthers coming over the top to block it. They can't get to it. The kick is good. Georgia recovering the Panther fumble when it looked like it was going to be Pittsburgh to get on the board first. Georgia recovers the fumble, takes it 51 yards in 5 plays and takes the lead 7-0 with 7:18 to play in the first half. All right, Georgia Bulldogs, the numbers on their drive there. Pittsburgh waiting to receive the kickoff. Butler has kicked off 70 times this year. Only 50 have not been returned. Only 20 have been brought out of there. That's Marlon McIntyre, number 3, the deep man. Butler hits it. High hanger. And it is not McIntyre. It is Barry Compton, a wide receiver, coming up the field. And he got whacked at the 17. Let's go back to the touchdown and look at it from a different angle.
Let's watch the blocking. The right guard, Hood, is moving in from tackle for just this ball game. Let's see what he does. Watch him turn back and block All-American Sunseri. Now watch Stewart, number 33, turn up and block number, can't see the number, as Walker goes into the 96 Woods for the touchdown. 2 good blocks by Hood, and Stewart freed Walker for the touchdown.
Ball is on the Pittsburgh 17 now. The Panthers need to move it a little bit. Georgia leading 7-0. 7:18 to play in the first half. Marino back to throw. No pressure. Gets it off to the short man, DiBartolo, coming out of the backfield. And I think his knee hit the ground right around the 21. 7-6 6 now in the second quarter in the Orange Bowl as Clemson rings up a second field goal in the ball game with Nebraska still leading 7-6.
Keith, I think we should mention that one of the keys for Georgia winning this ball game is being good open field tacklers after Marino throws these short passes. We'll watch for that.
Collins has not seen the ball yet in the game, so look out for him. There goes to Thomas. Big hole on the right side for Brian Thomas. And he whistles it up to the 34 at a first down as Ronnie Harris made the tackle for Georgia.
Well, if you watch the right side of the line, you're going to see two big studs over there. Freely, the freshman, just caves in the right side of the line, and Thomas, you can see his quickness, why he's added so much to the Pittsburgh offense. Harris, 27, finally makes the play after a 13-yard gain.
First down, Panthers, their own 34. Thomas again. Now Brian Thomas is taking the burden of the offense for Pittsburgh, and he's finding a whole lot of operating room behind Sams and Freilich.
And Keith, the plays are right up the middle. This is the thing that I think Pittsburgh must do to establish some good running up the middle where Georgia seems to be the weakest physically. Georgia having more speed than Pittsburgh, but not as much muscle.
Remember the point you made earlier, too, that Georgia is a very good east-west defensive team.
You run east and west, and they snuff you down.
Ball is just far enough over the 44 for another Pittsburgh first down. Just short of the 45. Straight back from Marino. He's looking at Collins. He goes instead to the tight end Brown, and Brown makes the catch. Short game.
Georgia concedes the short pass when they defend, and this is what they do mostly. Rush 3 or 4 people, drop back in the secondary, 7 or 8, give them the short pass, and they must be good tacklers on all of those completed passes in front of the linebackers and ends.
Dan Marino is now 10 out of 12. He's hit 9 in a row. You'd think they'd be on the scoreboard. They're not.
The reason I think, Keith, is most of the passes have been in front of the Georgia linebackers.
Second down and 8. And that ball off to the fullback, DiBartolo. And Wayne, a senior out of Pittsburgh, crosses midfield and gets to about the Georgia 48. So again, they find some room in the middle.
As we look at the two coaches, recognizing what a big ball game this is, Georgia still have a chance in the national championship. Jackie Sherrill trying to come back and redeem themselves from the Penn State football game.
It is third down and 4. Short. Thomas caught from behind, tripped up, but he has a first down as he reaches the Georgia 38. And it was Tommy Thurston that got him by the shoe tops as he went by.
Keith, what we are seeing is Georgia double covering the wide receivers. Collins with 6 touchdown passes, Dawkins with 15. Both of them run a 4.40 or 4.3. Double cover those, make them take the short passes up the middle, see if they'll be patient.
Whistle. I distinctly heard the whistle myself. It looked like there was hesitation by both teams before the snap. But apparently it was not an official's whistle, and the play is good for a considerable gain down to about the 32.
We mentioned the double coverage defending by Georgia. Why did they do this? They don't have the speed in the secondary, Keith, to cover the wide receivers and even the tight end of Pittsburgh, so they have to defend and spot on the short pass.
Gain of about 7 by DiBartolo, the fullback. Second down and 3 from near the Georgia 32. Ball goes to Thomas. Up the middle he goes. Down to the 25. Another Panther first down. So Pittsburgh is moving it, and they're moving it on the ground this time fundamentally.
Jackie Sherrill told me that his offensive line has been just as effective blocking for the run as they have for the pass. Marino has only been sacked 7 times during the entire season. We are seeing right now what Jackie meant. Good surge forward by the offensive line of Pittsburgh.
Lord, they're big enough.
I don't think I've ever seen an offensive line as big as Pittsburgh.
First down, Panthers, just short of the Georgia 25. Marino straight back. Loops it to Brown. It is incomplete. Got his hands on it. Good try by the big tight end. A junior out of Lower Burrell, Pennsylvania.
Keith, we talked earlier about forcing Marino to throw early. This is the first time Georgia rushed 5 people. Marino had to throw early before the pattern developed. As we look at the Sugar Bowl, has produced 4 national champions in the last 5 years, and they might just produce another national champion today as Nebraska is leading Clemson in the Orange Bowl 7-6.
And Alabama was defeated today. Texas Longhorns ranked number 5. Alabama ranked number 3. Of course, if Georgia and Clemson should both lose, then look out for the Longhorns. They might get the number 1 vote. Marino getting some pressure, setting up a screen for Thomas. Thomas is caught from behind and dropped for a loss back at the 30.
The Georgia defense has done a magnificent job all year. Bill Lewis is the new defensive coordinator. He guessed right. He had the blitz on. Marino was throwing the screen. He didn't have time to set it up. Georgia reacted for just a short gain.
Number 47, Nate Taylor, linebacker, hobbles off the field. Will Forts goes in to replace him. The ball is back at the 30. It is third down and about 15 for the first down.
Georgia's defending, 3-man rush, dropping 8 in the secondary.
They're going to go left with this play. Bartolo, the fullback. Nobody out there to wrestle him. Now he gets some coverage up on the original line of scrimmage. He got a bunch. He got 5. Pop, 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 pop. Terry Hogue was the first one to get there.
Georgia did a good job converging with 4 and 5 defenders on the short pass, holding it to a minimum.
That should bring in Snuffy Everett in the ball game in 1981 in field goals. From this distance, 40 to 49, he was 1 out of 2. He was 4 out of 11 for the year. Longest was a 43-yarder. The hold is good. Penalty flags are flying around. The kick is long enough, and the kick is through the uprights. Let's see about the penalty.
Georgia jumped all sides, I believe, Keith. And since it would be 4th and 5, I think Pittsburgh would refuse the penalty. It'd still be 4th and 5 if they took the 5-yard penalty. I think these circumstances suggest putting the 3 points on the scoreboard.
What they're going to do.
Offsides, defense, penalty decline. Field goal good.
And with 1 minute and 59 seconds to play in the first half, it is now 7 for Georgia and 3 for Pittsburgh. We've got 77,224 people in the Superdome watching tonight. The Sugar Bowl attendance record was set last year in the Notre Dame-Georgia game, 77,895. Herschel Walker and Lindsey Scott are the neat people, as Carney Norris. That ball is just hammered. Walker takes it way back in the end zone, and it'll be no return. It'll be Georgia first down at their own 20, leading by a score of 7-3. On Sundays, starting next week, January through March, Sports Beat, the Superstars, USA versus the World, and ABC's Wide World of Sports. And it'll be 2 weeks, I guess it is. Howard Cosell and Sports Beat, Superstars. I told you a little while ago about the USA versus the World, what that's going to be.
That's going to be interesting, Keith. And all those sports against the U.S. versus the world.
Lead us into the Olympics for 84. First down for the Bulldogs now as they give it to Walker again on first down, and he goes skating down the line and comes up to about the 25 to pick up 5 yards.
Georgia line got a plays. But Keith, we were talking during the timeout, Georgia's going to have to throw the ball. Whether they will right now with only a minute 38 left on the clock, I think they'll be content just to run the clock out. Going in at halftime with a 7-3 lead, but the second half they will have to throw more.
One of the things I'm surprised to see is Joe Happy is in the ball game now at center. He's had a bad back. He couldn't hardly walk, but I guess he's been begging the coaches to play, and he's a sure-handed center. They don't want any mistakes. Here's a pass. The ball is... it is caught by Walker. Ballou, the quarterback, was hammered, and Walker was standing there trying to block for him and made the catch, and Ballou is very slow to get up. Chris Dolman, number 56, just leveled Ballou. It would have been an incomplete forward pass, I think. Now watch the play here. It looked like Ballou's arm was coming forward.
Dolman is number 56. He's a freshman. He is 6'6", great speed. Watch him right here. He gets right in the face of Ballou. The ball just comes out of his hand. Walker, number 34, catches it very alertly, takes off with it for an 11-yard gain.
It's a look what I found, first down for Georgia up on the 36. Look at it again. Herschel's in the middle there trying to block.
From the left of your screen, you can see Dolman. He is big, 6'6".
All right, back to the live action. It goes to Walker, trying to get around. He isn't going anywhere. Pittsburgh read it just right. Big straight out over there. Penalty flag goes down. Look out.
Dave Fazuli piled on. The referee dropped the flag for a 15-yard penalty. Number 63 was a little bit eager. Put his headgear on the back of Walker.
That's kind of like butting a tree, though.
But Walker was down. He was vulnerable.
Personal foul. So that's a major penalty against the Panthers. Walker had lost 7 yards on the play.
Good ball. Personal foul. Defense.
Let's watch it again. Walker is just hemmed up. You can see that, as we talked about earlier, Pittsburgh is not going to let Georgia get outside. Watch 63 right here. Take his right fifth and drive it right onto the headgear of Walker. Definite foul. No question about it.
44-yard line, second down and 2. Lou gives to Walker. He's looking for some daylight. There isn't anything there. He lost a yard. Went into Moz, 71.
The Pittsburgh defense penetrates. They try to make something happen as Georgia takes a timeout. They don't wait. They go after the opposing team. Penetrating.
That's the 4th time Herschel Walker has been hit for a loss. He's carried 15 times, total of 28 net yards. We have 39 seconds to play in the first half. 39 seconds. And the Georgia Bulldogs talking and leading by a score of 7-3. I want to go back and make that point I was talking about a while ago, Frank. Georgia has run on first down 9 times, every time.
You can believe Pittsburgh uses the counter strategy to stop the run by blitzing, going through the gap.
Going to put it up here on first down. Oh, boy. Dolman just misses Ballou. He gets it off. It's up for grabs. That's got... Well, I'm surprised there was some interference call. It could have gone either way, too. It's an incomplete forward pass.
You're going to see Scott. He's going in motion. Lindsey Scott, number 24. For 37 passes up to this ball game. Now you can imagine that Ballou is scrambling, and now Scott goes deep. Number 26 Lewis is covered. I'm not sure. That could be called either way, Keith.
Yep. We have had a foul called against Georgia in the meantime while we were watching the replay. I think one of the Georgia players said something to one of the officials coming off the field, and he threw a flag on him. So that's going to be an unsportsmanlike conduct call.
And that's a major penalty, 15 yards.
It's a little hot down there, isn't it?
Yes. Well, the motions should be at a peak. So much at stake for both teams.
Good ball. Non-contact foul. Up and up. Fourth down.
That foul was made by the mouth. 28 seconds.
Mouth can get you in trouble sometimes.
It sure can. Everybody from Georgia ought to know what their old great-granddaddy said. Never let your mouth overload your rump, right?
That's correct.
Jim Broadway getting some pressure. Gets it out of there. And no roughing on him. And Pittsburgh takes it on a fair catch call back at the 36 by Tom Flynn. 36-yard net on the punt. 22 seconds to play in the first half. Pittsburgh now with one more chance before the halftime. All right. It's 7-3 ball game for Georgia. The Pitt Panthers. Now, the scoreboard shows 2 timeouts remaining. Mike Swanson and I don't agree with that, because we definitely saw Pittsburgh call 2 timeouts. But we'll have to wait and see whether or not the officials absorbed one because of the controversy over the noise. And the Georgia crowd, which outnumbers the Pitt crowd here, they're not helping Dan Marino at all, are they? And there's penetration by Georgia. It looked as if Pitt man must have moved a little bit on this side. That would be Jimbo Colbert, the left tackle, if that's the case.
That's the case, Keith. He was trying to set back to block Freddie Gilbert. So it's a dead ball foul.
That's 8 flags on Pittsburgh for 64 yards. And
watch the left tackle. He steps back. Once he takes his position, he has to be frozen until the ball is snapped. If he moves, it's a penalty.
Dead ball, false start, offense, first down.
I do believe that's at least 5 procedure calls on Pitt, if not 6.
Remember the championship game between Alabama and Penn State when Bear Bryant was complaining, had so many offside penalties. Yep. The noise level in this arena is so bad for the quarterback.
That's DiBartolo, the fullback, running it up the middle. And you've got 15 ticks remaining on the clock as the ball reaches the 40. That should be... They've called timeout now. Will that be the last one? That's the question. Only 15 seconds to play. They are short of the first down. And scores from games earlier today. Penn State getting out early to beat USC 26-10. And I thought the Panthers pretty well, rather the Nittany Lions pretty well dominated that ball game as Kurt Warner had a very big day. And the Lion defensive bunch sat on Marcus Allen pretty well. First time anybody held him under 100 this year. And the ball game in the Cotton Bowl, Texas came up with 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. And Robert Brewer put on quite a show in that fourth quarter. He and Donnie Little and Lawrence Sampleton as Texas beat Alabama 14-12. And the Rose Bowl final there, the Washington Huskies. You see that Mr. Robinson from Washington had a big day. And incredibly, the first shutout, the Rose Bowl in 30 years. I was not that aware of that. And there's your score in the second quarter in the Orange Bowl, with Nebraska leading Clemson by a score of 7-6. The Tigers, ranked number 1 in the country, their scoring coming on 2 field goals.
And Georgia ranked number 2, Keith. If it stays this way, Georgia could reclaim the national championship.
On second down, Marino, deep drop, goes short to his fullback, out of the backfield, got a first down as DiBartolo gets it to the Georgia 48, and the clock stops at 7 seconds to play. Got to move the chains. Pittsburgh with apparently the officials did absorb one of the timeouts earlier for the conversation and controversy, if you will, over the noise factor, that Marino could not make himself heard to the wide men. And now the referee, Ken Faulkner, is going to the sidelines to inform Jackie Sherrill he has no more timeouts remaining.
I think we expect to see in this situation, 7 seconds left to play, a deep pass to Hawkins, who is a great leaper, or either to Collins, the other wide receiver of Pittsburgh, as we watch Marino get his instructions from Jackie Sherrill. Just throw the ball up, hope for a great catch or a penalty on Georgia.
Be kind of interesting, too, to watch where Steve Kelly is. Kelly's playing center field for the Georgia defensive secondary. That's what we have for you this coming Saturday. The Pro Bowlers Tour opening up at 2:30 Eastern Time. The other times reflected there. And then you'll have the Hula Bowl out of Honolulu. Great collection of people participating in that one. Watch as our director, Andy Sedaris, gives you the view here. See where he is?
That's the double safety man. That's the prevent defense. They've got one safety man to play the regular pass and one in case something goes wrong.
Marino's going to heave it. He gets it off. It's intercepted. Oh, looky here. They've got a man loose on the sidelines.
Got a clipping penalty, Keith.
Ronnie Harris and a flag thrown back at the 35. So time has expired in the first half. And the Georgia Bulldogs will go to the locker room at halftime, leading the Pitt Panthers by a score of 7-3. The two teams are heading for the locker room. The clipping call was against the Georgia Bulldogs on the return of the interception, and it's waved off as Pittsburgh formally declines it. Jackie Sherrill, in the meantime, is giving Ken Faulkner a little conversation as he walks along the sidelines. Our old friend and colleague Bill Fleming is standing down there with him, and just as soon as Jackie completes his conversation with the referee, Bill's going to talk to Jackie.
While we're waiting, I would suggest he's talking about the noise level.
All right, let's go down to Bill.
Obviously, Keith, the conversation with the official was about the noise level. Jackie, can you reiterate to us what you said to him?
Well, the crowd noise, when we try to check off their wideouts, they've got to be able to hear, and they're not able to hear, and that's the rule, and they've got to. The first time he called it, and forced him back. The second time he didn't. He made him go ahead. The wing people have got to hear themselves. In other words, the wing official. If they can't hear the audible, they've got to relate that back to the referee and say, well, I can't hear it.
You've had 5 procedure penalties, and obviously that's one of the causes.
That's an awful lot. But probably going back to the interceptions that we got, and as close to the fumble punt, they wiped each other out. But the illegal procedure we had, the offensive line jumping, that caused us out of having a chance to score early.
Tell you one thing, it's a far different Pittsburgh team than we saw against Penn State.
Well, we're trying to do some things. We came out with 2 tight ends, trying to go ahead and create a mismatch, and we will try to probably stay with it, but we're still going to come back and try to run the ball on them and force them to come up and play run defense with their defensive backs.
One thing that Frank Royals brought out was about your quarterback, Marino, not thrusting his hands under the center, and the defense would not commit itself until he did. Now, had you picked that up too?
Well, we told him right now he'd go ahead and put his hands under the center to make a move, but they're out of that now. They're not doing it anymore, so they started a game like that, and then we went ahead and came back and put our hands under the center, but then you can't audible with your hands under the center.
Hey, Jackie, good luck in the second half. So this Sugar Bowl Classic, Pittsburgh against Georgia, will continue after this commercial message and a word about an upcoming show on ABC.
Indeed. It is now 12-7 in the Orange Bowl with Clemson leading Nebraska. Here it is 7-3. Georgia leading Pittsburgh. Clemson ranked number 1 in the country. Georgia ranked number 2 in the country. The Bulldogs kick off to Pittsburgh to start the second half. And dropping deep is Marlon McIntyre to touch it down the end zone, and the Pitt Panthers will start out moving from left to right from their own 20. The national championship, as I said just a moment ago, with Clemson ranked number 1 and Georgia ranked number 2, it is obvious. If Clemson wins in the Orange Bowl, the Tigers have to be voted number 1. They'll be the only Division 1A team that is 12-0. If they should lose and Georgia should win, the Bulldogs then figure to repeat as the national champion. In a nutshell, that's it, because Alabama, number 3, was defeated today by Texas. Marino sets him up with DiBertolo and Thomas behind him, and on the first play of the second half, it is Thomas running hard over the left side, spinning away and getting about 6, maybe 7 yards. The offensive alignment, Marino the quarterback, Thomas just carried the ball. DiBertolo had a big first half. Now, Bertola had a very fine first half. Collins and Dawkins were pretty much shut out in the first half. The offensive front is Corbett, Feda, Boris, Sams, Froelich, and Brown. Brown was also a prime target in the first half for Marino as Georgia's defense took away his prominent receivers in the wide position, Dawkins and Collins. Second down and about 3 for Pittsburgh from their own 27. They go back to Thomas. Thomas can't find anything up the middle as Georgia stacked it there, but he skitters outside and goes to the 31 for a first down. The defensive unit for the Georgia Bulldogs. Let's take a look at the big guys. Dale Carver at end is 215-pound junior. Jimmy Payne, 243-pound junior. Eddie Weaver is a 270-pound senior. Tim Crow, a 232-pound junior. And Freddie Gilbert, a 225-pound sophomore. First down for the Panthers. The ball is on the 31. Thomas now at 51 yards on 11 carries in the ball game. And Marino back to throw his first pass of the second half. He again has to go short to his fullback, who had come out on the delay and is standing out there all by himself, and Georgia has not covered that play yet in the game. The Georgia secondary and linebackers are these. Nate Taylor is a 198-pound junior. Tommy Thurston is a 215-pound sophomore. Ronnie Harris, a 180-pound junior. Dale Williams, big play in the first half, 168-pound senior. Steve Kelly, the center fielder, 173-pound senior. And Terry Hogue started the ball game, a sophomore at 196 pounds. He's the only Texan on the ball club. On second down, they go inside. And the Georgia defense finds him pretty quickly. He picked up 1 yard. The first half numbers.
The second quarter belonged to Pittsburgh. They've gone ahead of Georgia in every category. 9 first downs to 6, leading in yardage, passing, total yards, offensive plays, and time of possession. The extra turnover was meaningless the last play of the half.
Pittsburgh in 14 first down plays. They've thrown 7 times. They've run 7 times. If you're looking for tendencies in the ball game, they're leaving you guessing right now. 3rd down and 1. It's Thomas. Gets away from one-man Hogue, and then he is thrown out of bounds as he picks up the first down up around the 44.
Normally, Pittsburgh is a passing football team, but as Jackie Sherrill said at halftime, they were going to start with 2 tight ends, run the ball right at Georgia. That's what they've done so far. Brian Thomas making a beautiful cut, play designed inside, breaking outside for the first down.
Thomas is picking up steam, Frank. He's run for 46 yards the last 6 times he's carried it.
He looks very good. He's very quick. He knows how to find the open. He's got good eyes, Keith.
Hit first down, 44-yard line. First down, they'll throw it this time. Marino hangs it high, throws for Collins. It's too long. You can see that Kelly, number 23, was back there with pitch number 32, Dwight Collins. Collins was hurt during much of the season, but he is a fierce weapon.
Collins was a running back in high school, one of the most sought-after high school players in the state of Pennsylvania. He has 4.3 speed and great leaping ability. Caught 6 touchdown passes, although he's played sparingly during the season.
2nd down and 10. Collins is out of there right now, and Barry Compton comes in. Double wide, bottom of the picture. You see him there. Marino looks at him, goes the other way, and he hits the tight end, Brown. And John Brown, a 6'4", 222-pound junior, makes the catch.
This last pass is a classic example of Marino. Let's see if he plants his right foot, because he throws a bullet. He gets that right foot and watch the ball take off. Very little time for the defensive backs to break on it. Completion, 12 yards to Brown, the tight end.
Well, Brown is 222 pounds. Dale Williams, who made the tackle, weighs only 168. Bit of a mismatch. And it's another first down for the Panthers. The ball is now at the Georgia 44. And the fullback, DiBartola. And look at him rumble down to the 30. And the Panthers come out blowing in the second half.
Still in their 2 tight end offense, meaning that they put an extra blocker to make Georgia square up the defense. Running back to the short side, you can see there's nobody there. DiBartola makes Williams, number 9, miss him. Finally, Taylor slows him down a little bit. Hogue 14 makes the tackle. Not before 14-yard gain.
Right on the Georgia 30. Bulldogs leading 7-3, and the defense being tested to start the second half. Right back goes Marino. Still no pressure on him. Over the middle, Dawkins! Touchdown, Panthers! Well, that's vintage Pittsburgh.
That's classic operation by Marino. I wish we had a sideline shot because the tight end released down the field, and because of the lineman, he was ineligible, but the officials did not see it. Pittsburgh, Keith, was in a 2-wide set with both tight ends in. The right tight end released down the field, but Dawkins had lined up on the line of scrimmage because he's the split end, making the tight end ineligible. But the officials did not catch it.
All right, we're ready to go now for the extra point. Tuffy Everett's in to kick it. Panthers leading for the first time in the ball game. 43 out of 48 on the regular season, knocks it straight through. And Pittsburgh has taken the lead over the Georgia Bulldogs by a score of 10-7 as as they march it 80 yards, and here's the payoff.
Watch Marino plant that right foot, and when he does, watch the velocity. What a classic drop back passer. The ball is right on target. The Dawkins, number 80, that's his 16th touchdown pass of the season. Now Georgia has really been tested. You can see the lineman on. Dawkins was lined up on the line of scrimmage. He's going to run a quick post, and the ball is right on target. Georgia does not have a safety man. If the ball is thrown quickly enough, Dawkins is free, open, before Kelly, number 23, the safety end, can move back in and make the play. You can see that Georgia has Pittsburgh has great respect for Jimmy Payne, number 87. The leading sack player for Georgia. They double team him with Fralick, number 79. He weighs 280, and then the guard, Sada, picks him up.
And here's the kickoff as it is accepted by Carney Norris in the end zone. He comes out with it, comes to the 20, comes to the 22. And that's where Georgia will have the ball first down at their own 22. Here are the big people up front defensively for the Pitt Panthers. They're not quite as big as the offensive guys. Chris Dolman, we told you about, the 6'6" freshman. Pozzoli weighs in at 248 at tackle. Pelusi at 251 middle guard. Bill Maws had a good first half at 260-pound sophomore. Michael Woods, defensive end from Natchez, Mississippi. All right, ball is on the 22, first down Georgia. And the left side of the Georgia line was moving on it. Looked to me like Warren Gray and James Brown both might have been moving. I know that Gray was. So now it is Georgia's offensive unit making some mistakes here in the early going. The secondary and linebackers for Pittsburgh. Sunseri, a 220-pound senior, hometowner. Brainack is another Pennsylvanian at 216 pounds. Pappy Thomas, that's Pascagoula, Mississippi. He's from Lewis, weighs in at 195. Dan Short comes in at 204, and Tom Flynn 194. Their secondary is made up of big people. And Georgia busts the snap again. So Pittsburgh started the ball game having this kind of trouble, and now Georgia is starting the second half. They have broken the snap count on successive plays. That time it was Clarence Kay, the tight end.
Keith, I have heard of and seen where the tight end cannot even hear the quarterback in an arena like this. In a closed dome, he has to look to the inside and watch for the ball to be snapped.
All right.
Ball start. Offense. First down.
Now Georgia's in serious trouble. First and 20.
Yep. The ball is back on the 12. Pittsburgh has taken the lead 10-7 on an 80-yard touchdown march. A 30-yard scoring strike from Marino to Dawkins. And Ballou puts it up in the air, going to the sideline. Scott's there. Caught it. Up at the 40. Was he inbounds?
No, Keith, he was outside.
I thought he was.
This was the same pass that Penn State threw against Pittsburgh for 2 touchdowns. The cornerback, Lewis, jumped on the out and up, but you can see he learned his lesson. He's running right with Scott. Scott's out of bounds. So it goes.
That's the first time in the ball game, Frank, that they have thrown on first down.
Yes, it's the first. You can see that number 9, Thomas, is right with him. He didn't jump the out pattern enough to allow the touchdown.
So it's second down and 20 from the 12. Walker got some daylight. And Herschel is up to around the 25. So as they spot it. Take a look at the Georgia offense. Ballou, Walker, Stewart, Scott, and Buckler. Buckler has not seen the ball today. Guys up front are Gray, Hood, Radloff, Brown, Harper.
I think one thing that's hurt Georgia is Buckler, the weak side in, has only caught 7 passes all season long.
It's third down and 7 from about the 25. Blues passes away over the middle. Oh, my goodness, it's almost picked off. Flynn had it right on the numbers and didn't come up with it. I mean, he stepped right in front of Buckler and had it and might have scored, but he didn't hang on.
Well, that was a sensational play by Flynn. He's got deep responsibility. He gets a read on Ballou, the quarterback, and releases and comes up in front of Butler. Could have come away with an interception. Dropped it.
Jim Broadway is in to punt now for Georgia, and Flynn goes deep. Broadway standing on the 10, ought to hit it around the 14. And Pittsburgh's got 9 white shirts up there. Nope, now they're starting to peel off a little bit. They get some outside pressure, though. The punt is out. Pretty good hanger. Flynn coming over, waves his arm for a fair catch, and that's what it'll be, back around the 32-33. 42-yard punt with no return. 10:56 to play in the third quarter, and the Pittsburgh Panthers are leading the Georgia Bulldogs by a score of 10-7. I think the burden of proof now has shifted, Frank, over to the Georgia defense, because the Panthers come out in their first possession of the second half and stick it in the end zone from 80 yards. They've now got the ball at their own 33. It's put-up time, I believe, for the Georgia defense.
Georgia defense continues to defend and give Marino all the time in the world on his passing.
As he goes under center, they jump around, reset themselves, and they get Brian Thomas behind the line of scrimmage, and it's done by big Jimmy Payne. Here's a look at him doing his thing.
Jimmy Payne is 6'5", but his main asset is the blocker, and then come up and tackle Thomas for the loss. Just an outstanding play. Jimmy Payne, all conference, both last year and this for Georgia.
Loss of about 2, second down, 12. Ball back near the 31. Here's Marino giving his signals, his audible to the wide people. Georgia had set themselves, however, this time, and Marino back to throw it. Well, that's the first time Georgia has been able to fight its way through and make a tackle on Marino behind the line of scrimmage. Freddie Gilbert will get credit for it, and the reason that Marino delayed on it, he looked right, looked left, and tried to look back to the right, and by then the Bulldogs had hand-fought their way through the blocking.
Let's watch number 61, Weaver. You can see the hand blocking. This is the new rule in college. Look at the right offensive guard. Look at the hands go out. This is what the rules makers have done to help the offense in the passing game. Look at the hands out in front. For 95 years, the rule was the offense couldn't use the hands. Now they can use them like that. Isn't that some picture by our cameraman? That illustrates it perfectly.
Ball is back on the 25. Time. Pittsburgh. .23 to go in the third quarter. Who is that charged to? Pittsburgh or Georgia? Okay, our score is 10-7. And the Panthers talking, and we've got a timeout.
Hey, champ, got a heavy beard? Get ready for a knockout of a shave. Introducing the heavyweight new Noxzema.
You've got heavy cream, heavy moisturizers, a new protected formula, close, comfortable shaves.
For the roughest beards, take on the heavyweight new Noxzema, and your face comes out the winner.
Buds for all.
A couple of young Georgia fans there. Reason for the timeout called by Pittsburgh was Greg Christie, who was playing a tight end position today. Ordinarily a tackle had lined up on the wrong side. And that's why they spent the timeout. All right, from the 25. On third down at about almost 19. Marino going to put it up. Penalty flag down. Throws for Brown. The pass is incomplete. Linesman threw it. Procedure, Pittsburgh.
I think Georgia can refuse this penalty because it was the man in motion that was going towards the line of scrimmage.
It brings up fourth down at about 19.
Offense, penalty decline, fourth down.
So Ganser is in to punt. And the deep man for Georgia is Jimmy Harrell, a freshman from Summerville, South Carolina. Ganser's first punt, and I guess his only punt, was a 54-yarder. Dave Hepler, their regular punter, hurt his knee in the final game of the season against Penn State. High snap, but he handles it all right. sort of jerked that one sideways, and it ricochets out of bounds around the Georgia 41. So the Bulldogs will have good field position after a 34-yard punt. The scoring summary is rather brief. Walker went in from 8 yards. The kick was good, 7-0 Georgia, and a 41-yard field goal by Snuffy Everett to make it 7-3. And then the Pitt Panthers come back in the third quarter and take it in from 80 yards to play off with a 30-yard shot from Marino to Dawkins. And that's where we are, 10-7 Panthers. At number 8's a key man right here. They have thrown the ball one time on first down in the whole game. He's going to put it up this time. No pressure on him. Now there's some heat, and they get him behind the line of scrimmage as Bill Moss, who's having a heck of a ball game for the Panthers, defensive tackle, big sophomore from Newtown Square, Pennsylvania, makes the tackle. That's the second sack of the Georgia quarterback, minus 6 yards on the 2 tackles, and the ball is on the 49. It'll be second down and 39, second down and 12. Herschel's been pretty quiet so far today.
Pittsburgh defense is very effective, crashing across and holding Walker inside.
They've now rotated their defense and moved Ullman, the big fast man, to this side as Malou goes straight back, and they're after him. He gets it off short. The pass is complete to the tight end, and Norris Brown takes it up to about the 46 before his feet are taken from under him. They are short of the first down, but they've certainly increased their possibilities on third down.
Well, it was a sensational play, really, for Ballou just to get the pass off. You can see Belushi, number 52, is coming right through, and Ballou has to shuffle up a little bit, and then he just throws off balance right across to Brown. Brown's a good receiver, good speed, takes a good move, and leaves Georgia just short of the first down by 4 yards.
At the 47. Walker won't get it. He won't get it. Mazzoli, Oz, Belushi. Big guys in the middle.
One of the worst plays to run against Pittsburgh on third and long is the draw play, because they were blitzing through each gap and there was no place for Walker to run.
That's the 5th time in a ball game that Walker has been held to minus yardage. Broadway to punt. Glenn is deep. Little pressure on him. Fair catch is called. It is fumble. Georgia's after it. Goes out of bounds. It's out of bounds. It'll be Pittsburgh's ball.
I think Georgia made a mistake in trying to deflect the ball on close to the goal line rather than pick it up. I believe that the Pittsburgh safety man touched the ball, and Georgia, instead of trying to recover, is trying to really knock it back towards the goal line. Watch it right here. Now Pittsburgh touches again. 18. Hope jumps up. The ball is up in the air like a basketball. 74 finally has it, knocks it back, but it goes out of bounds. Pittsburgh's ball.
It's deep, back on the 12-yard line. Thomas, fumble. Georgia's got it. Inside the 10, Eddie Weaver.
Watch it again. It's faulty ball handling. A pitch back to Thomas. He takes his eyes off the ball. He dribbles it, and Weaver comes in behind number 61, falls on it, and Georgia's got a great opportunity.
Right on the 10. First and goal to go on the 10. They cannot get a first down unless they score. The ball sits square in the middle of it, sits right on the 10-yard line. That's Stewart in motion. Ballou to Walker. Outside for the corner. It's a foot race. Touchdown.
Walker seldom runs where the play is designed. He's supposed to run up the middle. But look at his quickness. He has such speed that he can bounce outside. Cappy Thomas, number 9, is a senior halfback. He can't get him down. Walker goes in for the touchdown. One play from the 10-yard line.
Well, that's called exercising opportunity, isn't it?
It really is. Georgia got the fumble on the punt, moved 50 yards for the score. They get a fumble on a faulty ball handling, and one play, take it in.
And Georgia just was a man short, and they got flagged for taking more than 25 seconds for the extra point try, but that shouldn't bother Butler. Number 78 was not in the ball game. Hood had to come in late.
Both fumbles set up Georgia's touchdown. There's Eddie Weaver, who was coming across, trailing the play, but fell on the ball for Georgia at the 10-yard line to give him this opportunity to score. And there's
the man
Herschel.
that took it in.
Goodness gracious, what a run he made to break outside against Pittsburgh defense.
Butler's kick. Missed it. I'll tell you, Butler's squawking because he felt there was some roughing as the Panthers came piling through. It's been a long time, Frank, since I've seen both teams doing this much talking to the officials. They're really talking at each other. 6:42 to go in the third quarter. 13-10, Georgia back on top. The story on Georgia's second touchdown of the ball game. Walker getting them both. Butler missed the extra point. He missed one in the Florida game. There's another Georgia game that we covered this year. Kevin likes to see us coming. He's only missed 2 all season. All right, Butler will kick it off. It's high, very, very high. Compton takes it at the 3. And there he comes on up to around the 19, close to the 20. So with 6:37 to go now in the third quarter. Georgia leading by 3. The Panthers will go to work.
Keith, let's go back and repeat what you said when Pittsburgh got the ball last time. It was up to the Georgia defense to rise to the occasion, and they did. Got the ball right back and took it in the score as we look at Herschel Walker. Not his usual average, but really 2 sensational runs for touchdowns, giving Georgia the lead.
Shipped into the eye with Thomas deep. Georgia sets it up with a 4-man front. On the 2-down lineman, they give it to Thomas. To the outside he goes. Oh boy, he's quick. And Bryant is all the way across the 35 to the 37.
Pittsburgh, known primarily for their passing, you can see that they also can run the football. This young man, Brian Thomas, according to the coaches, is the one that turned the Pittsburgh offense around by being able to make yardage on his own. And the last play was a perfect example. Up the middle, the play was designed, broke outside for 17 yards.
First down, Panthers. Ball just beyond their own 36. Double wide, bottom of the picture. Thomas again. Nope, DiBartola. Fullback. Wayne hammers in there, and there's a penalty flag thrown in the Pittsburgh backfield. Holding Pittsburgh. My goodness. They've been flagged 9 times for 79 yards in the ball game. The bulk of them, now 6 of those, have been for illegal procedure, that is moving.
Keith, I think all coaches will agree that penalties do as much to demoralize your football team and take you out of scoring chances as anything else. It just upsets your entire football team. Look at these yards. You can see that Pittsburgh is way ahead of Georgia, but the key to the football game, the 2 turnovers, setting up both Georgia touchdowns.
First down and 20 on the 10-yard holding call. Brown, the tight end in motion. They give it on the draw to the fullback, DiBartola. And he gets it up from the 30 to about the 35, where Eddie Weaver brings him down. The meat cleaver.
Eddie Weaver, number 61. You can see why he's been all Southeastern Conference 2 years in a row. He just pushes the offensive blocker aside and then moves back with his quickness. He has 4.8 speed and assist on the tackle.
He's a strong man, isn't he?
He is strong. 5'11", bench presses over 500 pounds. And very proud of that fact.
Second down, about 11. That's Thomas. right up the middle as Sams, Feda, Covert, Freilich, and Boris are opening holes. Next Saturday, January 9, let's see, I'm going to be in Honolulu with the Hula Bowl. And we'll have the Pro Bowlers Tour. Chris Schenkel and Nelson Burton Jr. will be opening the Pro Bowlers Tour for you at 2:30 Eastern, 1:30 television sports programs on the air. Nice group of people.
Keith, you mentioned the Hula Bowl. Each year, they're able to attract the top college athletes in America. What a trip. I've been there twice as the football coach, and each time they allow me to take my family. The players have a wonderful time, and they play a great football game. With great enthusiasm.
Well, we're going to get to see Jimmy McMahon and Marcus Allen for the West. The East is going to come in with a bunch of big old defensive horses. Art Schleister will be the quarterback out of Ohio State. It might take 5 hours to play the game with McMahon and Schleister there. They're liable to throw it 50 times apiece. Third down, they need about 6 inches. And the quarterback, Marino, goes for it. He's obviously got it behind the offensive line surge.
The Pittsburgh line is so big, Keith, it's impossible for them to block low. They block similar to Southern Cal, block up high, try to mash the opposing defensive lineman and just lock on and stay on and work their feet. Do a great job of it.
First down from the Pitt 47. Georgia's leading 13-10 with 4:45 to play in the third quarter. Clemson is leading Nebraska starting the second half 12-7. Marino shoots it to the sideline, hits his tailback Thomas. Ryan Thomas looks to me like far enough downfield to claim another first down for the Panthers around the Georgia 42.
Once again, Marino has plenty of time to look downfield, see his coverage, and then throw to the secondary receiver, Thomas, out of the backfield, making the first down.
The Georgia people have only pressured Marino really one time, Frank. That was on a screen pass when their quickness was able to sort of mess it up on him.
I think we can look for some blitzes coming up. I think they've got to do something to disrupt his timing.
The man on the right side of the pit line moved. That's number 79, Bill Freilich. Saw his shoulders bob up and down.
He's not hard to see. He's 6'5" and 280 pounds, freshman tackle.
He didn't move his hands. He just kind of bobbed. Yep. That's 8 procedure calls, I believe.
Look at Jackie Sherrill. He's out on the field yelling at the officials. You can see it. He's upset. I don't blame him, but there's something about this dome playing inside. The noise level is just unbelievably tough on the quarterbacks and the linemen to hear the snap count.
He didn't pick up his hand, but Freilich did move. You could see him bob up and down. So it's first down and 15 at the Georgia 48.
Georgia's coming with a blitz.
And they run it right up the middle with Brian Thomas and get big yardage on the play. Down to about the Georgia 36. Well, they're cutting up the middle now.
That's a little counter play with Ron Feda, who the left guard, pulling and trapping out Jimmy Payne. It had a nice hole, and Thomas shows exactly how he runs north and south. Here's a very interesting statistic. Thomas, 93 yards, 5.5 average. Walker, 51, 2.8.
Walker has 2 touchdowns. Georgia's claiming it, but I haven't seen a man wearing a striped shirt say it yet.
Yes, the far judge signaled Georgia, but I'm not sure.
Yep, there it is. That is the 3rd fumble and the 4th turnover for the Pitt Panthers. Covert's down there still debating it with Tim Crow. Hove's underneath it.
Number 14. This young man has not played in a football game since the first quarter of Kentucky. He's had an injury. Let's see what happens.
Well, Crow strips it out of him. Tim
Crow is number 91. Let's see his
91.
right arm.
Right there.
His left arm right there. Strips the ball right out. And then I believe Gilbert, number 90, is the one that recovers it. though, from this view.
Hogue came up with it.
Yes, that's right. I guess.
So Terry Hogue, who's playing with a huge calcium deposit on a bruised right leg. I'm surprised the youngster's out there, but he, as a freshman last year, remember, blocked the Notre Dame field goal. The Texan is making himself known, isn't he? First down, Georgia. The ball is on their own 35 as the Panthers fumble it away. Pass thrown out, complete to Ronnie Stewart, the fullback, coming upfield across the 40. So Ronnie Stewart gets into the offensive flow of things. The play is good.
Pittsburgh
Penalty flag.
Happy Thomas hit the Georgia player in the face. I'm not sure whether it'll be a double foul, but Thomas definitely hit the Georgia player with his left hand in the face. Right over to the left of the screen if we... A little shoving going on, and Thomas just up and hit him right in the face with his left hand. Well, it could be on both sides. I don't know. This ball, personal foul. Here. This ball, personal foul. Offset. Look him down.
Tempers are a little ragged.
Well, there's a lot at stake. You know, Pittsburgh is trying to come back from the embarrassment of the Penn State game. They're fired up. Let's see on the left of your screen, Pappy Thomas, number 9. See if we can see it. It's further to the left. It's not in the picture yet. You see 56 of Georgia.
Oh, it's Happy at center. All right, second down as Ballou rolls it. Sets up. Gets out of there. Fumble. Picked up. No. Pittsburgh gets the ball. Pittsburgh's got it. And penalty flags are thrown downfield, stopping the play. Sunseri finally came up with the ball.
Once again, the college rule, you cannot advance the fumble by the opposing team.
It'll be Pittsburgh's ball.
And one thing that I'm sure Norris Brown, number 88, wishes that he'd fallen on the ball rather than try to pick it up.
Yep.
Because he lost control and Pittsburgh recovered. You can see that the secondary of Pittsburgh had the receivers covered. The ball pops out. Brown right here should have just recovered the ball. Instead, he tries to pick it up. Pittsburgh gets it and has another chance.
Well, Georgia now turns it over. That's the second turnover for the Bulldogs. The Panthers get it back. Good field position at the 43. Marino gives it. And DiBartolo, the fullback, just comes banging straight ahead with it. And he picks up about 4 yards with 2 minutes and 40 seconds to play in the third quarter. Sunseri right there, who picked up the loose ball.
He's an All-American, a Pittsburgh native. Was his only starter returning on the defensive unit from last season.
47-yard line. It'll be second down and 6. Dawkins comes wide to the right. Double wide to the top of the picture. Marino's going to put it up. Goes short. Man, did he have it? No. Incomplete forward pass. Terry Hogue came up and really nailed Brian Thomas.
That is what the backfield coach will say is a good searcher. I know that Bill Lewis, coaching the secondary, always yelled when he coached for me, search him, search him. A little short pass, if you look at Bill Lewis, give instructions to the defense. That was an excellent play, knocking the ball loose.
Third down and 6. Hogue is out, and Darrell Jones, the sophomore, has gone in to play that position now. And so has Antonio Render, so they got 5 defensive backs in there.
Georgia defending again with 3 men rushing.
Marino runs it up the middle and goes for a first down. So a quarterback draw is good for a Pittsburgh first down just over the Georgia 45.
Why would the quarterback draw work so effectively? Georgia with a 3-man rush, rushing them in to the outside, leaving the nose man Weaver, the only man to stop the run. They double team Weaver. Marino makes the first down.
Less than 2 minutes to play now as we just passed the 2-minute mark in the third quarter. 13-10 Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. 12-7 Clemson over Nebraska in the Orange Bowl. They're in the third quarter as well. First down for Pittsburgh. Here's Brian Thomas with the ball. And Thomas is going to get 4 yards on that carry down to the 41. Joe Crimmins made the play. He is from Eustis, Florida. Big defensive tackle.
I've been very impressed with Brown. Thomas, number 44, with his ability to see the blocking.
He's got 97 yards.
Against University of Georgia, which is only allowed during the season an average of 82 yards per game rushing.
2nd down and 6 from the 41 of Georgia. Reno calling his play at the line of scrimmage. Quick shot to Dawkins. Dawkins on the sidelines hits the chalk down around the 32. That'll be a 1st down for the Panthers.
What we just witnessed was Marino's ability to read the defense, see the single coverage with blitz coming, just raise up and hit Dawkins on the sideline. Just a matter of throwing and catching it as no one was covering him short.
55 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter.
You can see how impressive Dan Marino has been. 19 out of 27, 1 TD, 1 interception.
Sets a 5-man front defensively this time. Now they drop off. Penalty flags are down. DiBartola bangs it in there to about the 28. John Brown may be the guilty party for Pittsburgh, and it may very well be another procedure call, and if it is, that'll be number 8. Offside.
The tight end could not get a procedure call, Keith.
That's right. He had to be offside.
He would be offside.
Eight times. It still amounts to procedure, really, because he just moved too soon.
Now we've got 2nd and 10 into a passing situation for Pittsburgh. Let's see if Georgia can finally blitz.
That'll be 1st and 15.
Offside, offhand, 1st down. Keith, he penalized from the way the play stopped and instead of bringing the ball back. The referee had to make that adjustment.
Pittsburgh has made 10 first downs in this quarter to 1 for Georgia. Georgia has scored a touchdown to regain the lead. And he goes to Thomas. Ooh, he almost popped out of there, didn't he? If he'd been able to keep his feet and his momentum and get to the sidelines, he might have run for a while.
He ran right behind the amazing freshman, Bill Fralick, who grew up in the city of Pittsburgh. 6'5", 280 pounds, and his coach Joe Young tells me he's one of the most unusual youngsters, that he can pick up the blocking assignments as quickly and play as effectively as he has.
Thomas now has 103 yards. 103. 19 carries. 2nd down, 8. Swings it out to the fullback, DiBartola. To the 21. That's the 1st down for Pittsburgh. And so we've got 15 minutes to play, and the Panthers are on the move again. With our score after 3. Georgia 13, Pittsburgh 10, the 48th Sugar Bowl. We'll continue after this commercial message and a word from our local station. He looks like that guy was running up and down my hall last night. The ball is on the 21-yard line of Georgia. 1st down Pittsburgh as we start the 4th quarter of play. Georgia leading 13-10 in this 48th renewal of the Sugar Bowl. Marino caught, throws it away. They're going to flag him for that?
They are not. Just a great play on Marino's part to get rid of the ball, avoid the loss, and not throw it downfield for an interception.
That's one of the rules David Nelson and his folks ought to take a look at in college football.
It's a tough call on a judgment call on the referee, Keith, but you're right. It needs to be looked at because Georgia deserves the sack. They were back on top of it.
Will Force, man back there. 2nd down and 10. But as long as the rule's written that way, more power to Dan for getting rid of it. 4-down lineman for Georgia. Ball is given to DiBartola, the fullback. And he hammers in there for about 3 yards. And
revealed exactly what we have been seeing, dominating by Pittsburgh, both offense and defense. 21 first downs from 7. Georgia's only made 1 first down in the third quarter. Look at the total yards, 329 to 142. And Georgia still leads because of the turnovers by Pittsburgh.
Third down and 7. Third and 7. The Panthers are one play away from, if they don't make it, they're going to have to make a pretty big decision. 4 seconds, 3, 2.
They haven't got a movement penalty.
Hobart moved on the left side of the line, so that's 9. I think it's fair to say 9 procedure calls against them.
You can see the dejected look on Jackie Sherrill's face. Now Pittsburgh instead of third down, 7.
Got a 3rd and 12.
3rd and 12. That ball off start, off end. Third down.
9 times they've either been moving one way or the other, or somebody stepped offside. They've been flagged a total of 12 times in the game. And the ball is now back at the 23, 24 almost.
Pittsburgh in a spread formation. Georgia seems to be rushing only 3 men. As you can see Marino using the audible. Now when he puts his hands on it, he's going to snap the ball.
Going for the corner, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Ronnie Harris. And Harris comes back to the 18. He tried to force it, and it didn't work. That's 5 turnovers for Pittsburgh.
I'm sure that penalty made Marino go deep. He throws the ball right into traffic. You can see 2 Georgia men right there. There wasn't a chance for the pass to be completed.
The object that came into the picture there is the beanbag that the official throws on it. So we've got a timeout with 13:44 to play in the ball game, and Georgia stops Pittsburgh.
Now you can get on the Sports Beat every week. ABC Sports Beat going weekly this winter on ABC.
Well, here's some bad news for Georgia. The Clemson Tigers, number 1 in the country, have now gone out by 12 over the Nebraska Cornhuskers. A 13-yard pass from Homer Jordan to Perry Tuttle, and it's 19-7 Clemson Tigers. Georgia Bulldogs are leading here, 13-10. They have the football, first down at about the 18. Go to Walker, and Walker saws it up the middle, and the ball came loose. And Pittsburgh's going to get it, I think.
Pittsburgh is in the blitz. You can see the linebackers going through the gap. Walker has the ball, but is stripped out on the right side by number 66, it looked like. Salisbury, and the ball bounces out. It's covered by Woods, number 96.
And so the Panthers get the ball back, and they get it on the Georgia 23. With 13 minutes and 38 seconds to play, it is Georgia's 3rd turnover. Oh, let's see what Pittsburgh can do with this opportunity. They go to Thomas. Thomas cuts it up the middle. And a helmet goes flying as Brian Thomas slashes literally to the 15. Marshall Walker didn't have it tucked away. Panthers poked it loose. There's the man that recovered it. Michael Woods. Second down and 2 for Pittsburgh on the Georgia 15.
I think we can look for Pittsburgh to run it in if they possibly can.
Thomas up the middle to the 10, to the 8. And he's got a 1st and goal to go for the Panthers.
One thing that happens when quarterback throws for an interception, he loses a little confidence. The coach loses a little confidence in him, and Pittsburgh's had on the ground, you would think they'd take it all the way in.
Mr. Thomas now with 21 carries and 118 yards.
I think we should mention Georgia has only allowed 72 yards per game rushing. It won't be long before Thomas will double that amount.
That's right. First and goal from the Georgia 8. Goes to Thomas again. Cuts back off the sweep. Gets it to the 6. That's a little bit of a student body right, wasn't it?
Exactly. The Southern Cal sweep to the right. Thomas cuts back, sees a little daylight, makes a good twist. Instead of making no gain, picked up 3 or 4 yards.
Second down and goal from the 6. Minutes to play in the ball game. Marino on a roll, puts it in the air, touchdown, goes to John Brown.
Receiver that worked on weight, gained 30 pounds, and they moved him to tight end. He has 4.6 speed.
The kick is just barely good. Snuffy almost missed getting it up, but it is good. And so Pittsburgh now leads by 4. Here's the touchdown.
Brown is going to get in behind the linebackers. You can see he's wide open, and Marino throws the ball in there with touch. Watch Marino take something off of the ball. Brown is wide open. You don't drill the ball in. You just lay it up. Look at him floating. Tissue paper all over that ball. Good hands by Brown. Breaks it in for the touchdown.
And so with 11 minutes and 40 seconds to play in the football game, it's Pittsburgh 17 and Georgia 13. Well, obviously John Brown is happy. That is a real live buddy there. Eric Schubert is ready to kick it away for Pittsburgh. And the deep people are Herschel Walker and Carney Norris. For the Georgia Bulldogs, been on top by 4. Eric hits it and hangs it up there. And he hangs it right to Norris, who's 7 yards deep. And he will not bring it out. So it will be Georgia's ball, first down from 20. And there are the statistics on the scoring effort by the Panthers after Georgia had fumbled the ball away. Well, it was a hard day today for Marcus Allen, the Heisman Trophy winner for USC, and it's been a hard day so far for Herschel Walker of Georgia, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. Coach Fazio, the defensive coach for Pittsburgh, is really an outstanding tactician. Teams, 2 years he's coached the defense, they've led the nation both years.
Goldman makes contact over there. Perhaps he was teased offside. Let's see whether or not Chris was drawn off or whether he was anticipating. That's against Pittsburgh.
I think what we have seen is Georgia's offense completely shut down as we listen.
Illegal procedure. Defense. First down.
By the Pittsburgh defense. Ballou has had a disappointing day. He's got to really get going here and throw some passes and complete them if Georgia's going to have any chance to win.
First and 5 from the 25. Ballous pass to the sidelines. Buckler has it. And he's knocked out of bounds up around the 31. That'll be good for a first down. That's the first time Buckler's seen the ball today. And you see what I meant when I said Herschel had a hard day. That further amplifies the prowess of the Pittsburgh defense.
That certainly does. That speaks so much for the Pittsburgh defense.
First down just outside the 30. Give it off to Walker. Trying to get some help out there from Buckler, and he gets it up to about the 34. Better part of 3 yards on the carry with 11 minutes and 29 seconds to play in the ball game. Pittsburgh sitting on a 4-point lead, 17-13. These universities got 12,500 tickets with an option on 5,000 more. Pittsburgh sold 11,000, so they've got 11,000 Pitt fans here. Georgia took every ticket they could get their hands on. And then some, I think. Ballou ducks it off to Walker. Walker to the outside, up the sidelines, takes on the Pitt man Thomas, and he's rolled out of bounds up around the 44. Tim Lewis actually shoved him out.
One thing that Pittsburgh's defense is doing effectively is rushing Ballou on the rollout passes. The quarterback has no chance to really dump the ball across the line of scrimmage when the blitz is coming. The only chance he had on that play was get it to Walker. Walker made a nice run for the first down.
Ball is up around the 46. They give us progress. More first down. Georgia 46. Scott has caught one pass today for 5 yards.
The blitz.
Come on, dog! Come on, dog!
He's going deep, and it's Scott, and he had it, and he couldn't hold it when Pappy Thomas came across and belted it. They had Scott going deep on a post, and it was almost 6, but Thomas made a good play.
You can see the blocking. Ballou has time. He lays the ball. He puts air under it to let Scott run under it. Scott's going to have it right here, but Thomas, number 9, you can see. No, he didn't. I don't believe he ever held it, Steve. Thomas was right there to knock it down. Thomas, number 9, is planning man for man. Rolls right with him. You can see Scott have a pretty good burst right there. Runs away from Thomas. The ball is thrown, but right arm, the right hand of Thomas knocks it out.
On second down and 10, give the ball to Walker, caught in the backfield. Pelusi, number 52. J.C. Pelusi from Youngstown, Ohio, comes in to get him.
Pelusi's the nose man. He's the third of the family to play at Pittsburgh. He's coming on the snap of the ball. This is something that Pittsburgh does. All he does is just shove the Georgia blocker to the side, comes in and tackles Herschel by the left leg, gets help from a teammate. Another loss for Herschel.
Back to the 42. Walker now has been hit 6 times for a loss in this ball game. Ballou has a little room, going to run it. Looking for the sidelines, takes it back up the middle and breaks out of the pack. And carries the football across the Pittsburgh 35 down to about the 33, and he comes up hobbling. Going to try to walk that off.
Nice the Georgia fans and get them fired up. Here's Ballou doing something he wouldn't do last year. The receivers are covered. When not to throw is important. Now he's going to scramble. You can see Thomas, number 9, and Craddock, number 56, tried to make the tackle, missed him, and finally playing number 5 brings him to the turf.
First down, Georgia at the 34. They go to Walker. And Walker's still going. He's out of bounds. An incredible burst of speed and strength by Herschel Walker, and it's down at the 10-yard line. Tom Flynn saved the touchdown.
I've never seen anything like Herschel Walker when he gets a little daylight. Watch the run. Watch the power. There's nothing there. There's no blocking. He cuts inside. Watch him just run right over All-American Sal Sunseri. Then he throws the burst of speed. Flynn, number 5, finally gets to him and knocks him out of bounds at the 10-yard line. After a 24-yard gain.
There's no way you run over
No
Sal
way.
Sunseri
I
like
agree.
that.
Nobody but Herschel Walker, that is.
Good heavens. First down and goal to go, Georgia at the Pitt 10. It's Walker again into the middle. He's got a yard. Clemson now rolling it out to 22-7 over Nebraska. Clemson defense obviously controlling Nebraska's I formation. And Homer Jordan leading the offensive troops. They run up to a 15-point lead now. And if they win that ball game, they've got to be number 1. I don't care who's doing the talking. Ball is on the 9. Second down and goal to go. defensive play for Pittsburgh.
Tom Flynn, the safety man, Keith, if he doesn't get the tackle, Ballou walks in for the touchdown, but once again, Ballou shows good judgment. Receivers covered, takes off.
Here comes Lon Buckler in now, the wide receiver. He's bringing the play as Scott comes out. Lindsey Scott is out of the game.
I guess if he's going to take Scott out, he's going to throw the ball to the tight ends. He's got 2 tight ends in the ball game, both excellent receivers.
Ian Brown. Pressure from the backside. He's in trouble. He loops it in the air. He's got a man. He's got a touchdown. Clarence Cave. From the backside, giving the pressure. I mean to tell you, he almost planted Buck Ballou under the carpet. But he got his pass away for a touchdown, and Georgia is back on top. And this extra point is very big. Kevin Butler missed his last one. Broadway will hold it. It is up, and it is good.
There's 2 things about the touchdown pass. Ballou getting it off under adverse circumstances, and the great throw and catch by Ballou and Cave.
20-17, Georgia, 8:31 to play. Clarence Cave, who just scored his 2nd touchdown of the 1981 season. Of course, it didn't really fit into 81, does it? And Georgia's back on top by 3 points. A lot of time left, 8 minutes and 31 seconds. Made that drive of 80 yards. Good high hanging kick. McIntyre won't come with it. It'll come out to the 20. Here's another look now at the touchdown.
I think you ought to watch Ballou and watch Michael Woods, number 96, coming from the right of your screen. Ballou never sees what happens. He throws the ball. He goes to the ground. And the only reason he used a touchdown, the Georgia fans start cheering. Clarence Cave, number 84, good hand, looks the ball in and touchdown.
2nd time this year. He's got to be happy. Buck's trying to get the cobwebs out between his ears, I think, after the way Woods hit him, because he really leveled him.
Woods has 13 sacks for the season. He's the key man in the Pittsburgh defense to rush the passer.
First down Panthers now at their own 20, trailing by 3. That's Brown in motion, and Thomas with the ball. Brian Thomas for 2 yards. Up to the 22, where Freddie Gilbert brings him down.
Now we see a real test for the Georgia defense. If we look at Buck Ballou, he has started 29 football games for Georgia, and they've won 27. This is his 30th start. The Georgia defense is really going to be tested. Can they stop both Thomas' run and Marino's pass?
The one play that Georgia hasn't stopped all day, in fact hasn't even covered, is that little swing outside to the fullback, Dave Bartola. Thomas the other way. And he's up to the 24. And Jimmy Payne got a hand on him that time and tripped him up.
You just don't run wide, east and west, against the Georgia defense with any amount of consistency. Payne is too quick. He whipped the blocker, Fralick, and made the play for a short gain. There we see the time left. Oh, this is a crucial 3rd down call for Pittsburgh.
It's a good football game, right?
It's a great football game. We've seen some tremendous games all fall. College football, exciting. This is a typical game.
3rd down and 5. He goes for Dawkins, and he nails him, and he is shoved out of bounds up across the 40. At the 42. So Julius Dawkins is there when they need him most.
Oh, this is the kind of route that only a great receiver and passer can time. In and out, the ball has got to be right on target. Dawkins has got to concentrate on the ball, keep his feet in bounds, and finally Harris knocks him out of bounds, but not before a 1st down.
22 out of 32 for 199 yards now for Dan Marino, 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. First down at their own 42. Thomas cuts it back in the middle. And he gets it up to about the 45 for the better part of 2.5 yards. Right here, let us pause 5 seconds so that all of our ABC stations across the country can tell you exactly who they are.
College football on WTAE-TV, Channel 4, Pittsburgh.
Jackie Sherrill has been absolutely unflappable since he got his case settled with the referee over the crowd noise early in the ballgame. Thomas now continuing his impressive work. 25 carries, 128 yards. Second down and about 7. That's Steve Bartola, the fullback. He's a bit of a bulldog himself. He gets it up to midfield. They're looking at about 3rd and 2.
It seems to me that Pittsburgh has made most of their yardage running behind the big freshman. On the right side of the offensive line, they've got Ron Fada at right guard, who weighs about 260, but Fralick, the freshman, weighs about 280. There's Dan Marino's numbers for today. Just a brilliant quarterback.
3rd down and pretty close to 3 yards.
2 tight ends, power attack.
Rolls it out, wants to throw it. Gets it off, throws it to crowd. Well, there was some pressure from Jimmy Payne. Payne came all the way from the other side. And I am sure that Marino heard those hoofbeats coming. And finally, he unloaded it rather than eat it back there. And they'll have to punt.
A little bit of a surprise call for Pittsburgh to line up in a goal line offense and then throw a rollout pass.
I think that was the same play right there that they scored on with the tight end.
It was, but Georgia's in a different defense on that part of the field rather than on the goal line.
So we've got a timeout called by the University of Georgia Bulldogs. They got a little mixed up in their defense. I think they might have been out there with only 10 people. So there's a timeout on the field with 5 minutes and 37 seconds to play in the ball game. And Pittsburgh's got to punt it away. 4th down and about 3. Greg Ganser is in the punt for Pittsburgh. Way back there, but they got 3 men up short, and they do snap it to Tom Flynn, and Flynn will not get the first down. Georgia smelled that all along because they just, I think, some reason you almost expected it to happen, and Kevin Jackson brought him down, number 71. Ganser was way back there. They had Kelly in there. Then they finally put Harrell in, their punt returner, and the Georgia people just never expected Pittsburgh to really punt that ball.
Keith, that's the reason Georgia took time out. They expected some trick play. They got their defense over, gave them instructions as to what Pittsburgh has done in the past, and they defended it perfectly and took the ball on down.
And they've got the ball at midfield with 5:29 to play in the game and leading by 3 points. The man on the right side, the tight end, moved a little bit.
But Keith, he can move and get set. If the official calls it perfect, right, in my judgment, it's against Pittsburgh.
Yep. He did not pick up his hand. The tight end is entitled to some movement.
Have a false start by the offense.
They call false start on him.
Delayed by the defense. They offset.
You like that call?
Well, we start over. Watch the right end move, but the right end is not forced to stay in his position. As long as he gets back before the ball is snapped, it's legal. Now the right guard doesn't move simultaneously with the movement of the right end. Therefore, he's illegal. Double penalty.
So we'll get it going here, folks. First down on midfield for Georgia as Ballou gives to Walker. Walker never really got anything going. He sort of stumbled as he was looking for a crack in the line, and he gets a yard to the Pittsburgh 49 at 5:20 to play in the game. Walker now 24 carries and 82 yards in the ball game. The big running star of the game has been Brian Thomas.
I don't believe that Georgia can be too conservative. If they have to throw the ball, they'll be very careful with it. They have confidence in Ballou. He will probably roll out or throw something behind the line that's relatively safe if he's forced to go to the air.
And don't overlook the Butler situation because he has long range. Play skipper. Here's the pass away, intended to stop, broken up by Thomas. Happy Thomas was right there with him.
I think that's a good call. I agree with that. I don't believe Georgia can be as conservative with Pittsburgh being so strong offensively in the passing game. I think Georgia's got to try to make a first down.
It'll be third down and about 9. Scott's out.
I can see Pittsburgh coming with a blitz on third and long.
They got both the tight ends, Kay and Brown, in there with Buckler, the wide man. That's Walker. Good coverage outside by Pittsburgh. And they've got him around the 47. So it'll be fourth down, and Georgia will go to the punt.
Third down and 10. Georgia will at times run Walker, hoping that he'll break the play outside, but not against the Pittsburgh defense. Georgia might have been better served by throwing the ball and trying to make the first down and keep possession and the ball away from Pittsburgh.
Flynn will go deep for the Panthers. Broadway is in to punt for Georgia. And we're running down toward 4 minutes to play in the ball game.
I believe Georgia's going to let the 25-second clock run out and take the 5-yard penalty.
Don't blame him.
After a penalty, except in this situation. Offense, fourth down. Now he will not start the clock except on the
9 of those have been procedures. 10. Kick is away. Man came blistering through and decked the punter, Broadway, which got a big roar from the crowd.
Keith, under the college rule, if the man charging in the kicker is blocked in the kicker by one of the teammates, then it is not roughing the kicker. Let's see if that's not what happened. The fullback on the right of your screen is going to block Dolman, I believe it is, number 56, into the kicker.
That's Michael Brooks.
Yes, you can see that the offensive that Stewart blocks it into the kicker, therefore it's not roughing.
Stewart knocked him right into it.
Stewart knocked him right into it, number 50.
Ball went out of bounds right on the 20. And so that's where Pittsburgh gets it. Oh, the Panthers get pretty good positioning out of that. Little stand-up pop pass from Marino to Dawkins, and it's good for about 5 yards.
Even though Dan Marino has completed a lot of passes, Keith, other than the touchdown pass to Dawkins, everything else has been short. Georgia has been conceding the short pass, trying to make the tackle after only a short gain.
And he could have a first down. It does. See,
he wants to win this football game very desperately, and he has a chance. Marino, with a pass, can score at any time from anywhere on the football field. Now he's changing the play.
There's that play. That time they sort of covered it. That time Dale Williams, who made the great play in the end zone earlier in the ball game for Georgia, sensed that one coming, and he almost got there in time to get a piece of it.
I think the difference for Georgia on that play, Marino showed it from the very start.
Yeah, he did.
And on the other occasions when he hit DiBartola, he looked down the field, forcing the Georgia defense to drop deep and giving DiBartola time. Marino back. He goes short. Payne, number 87, is trying to get back and rush the passer. And you can see that the Pittsburgh, Colbert, number 75, watch his right arm and see if he holds it. Well, yeah, he grabbed an older jersey. Look at the tackle. But the thing that's tough on the officials is they're allowed to use their hands under the present college rule, not to hold. It's hard to distinguish sometimes.
That's Thomas from the 48. 2 yards to midfield. Thurston Tommy Thurston had Thomas on the preceding play. He had him after a short gain, and Thomas just ran right through him.
Thurston is all-conference, a sophomore, the leading tackler for the Georgia football team. But Thomas showed what he can do in an open field.
2nd down and 8. The ball at midfield with 2 minutes and 25 seconds to play in the game. Both teams with 2 timeouts remaining. Give it to DiBartola. And he muscles his way for almost 4 yards. But got to go down to the Georgia just short of the 42 to get a first down. They'll need about 4, a little more than 4.
You can see that Pittsburgh is either tired or they're not in any hurry. They're just, well, they're taking the time out.
They have 1 left. 1 minute and 59 seconds to play in the ball game. The Panthers take time to talk. Georgia leads by 3, 20-17. Well, we are getting down to cases. 1 minute and 59 seconds to play in this Sugar Bowl game. The football is in between the hash marks, 46 and 47-yard lines of Georgia. They've got to go just near the 42 to get a first down. It is 3rd down and about 4. Marino's going to throw. He goes short over the middle, and Thomas didn't come up with it. You know why? Because I think the umpire obscured the vision.
You're exactly right. Watch it from the end zone. Thomas is breaking right over the middle. The umpire stepping up, watching the blocking. You can see the umpire's feet coming up. The ball obscured his vision, goes right through Thomas's hands.
It is 4th down and 4 for Pitt with 1:54 to play.
Gutty call. 4th down is, what was it, 3? 4. 4th and 4. Quarterback draw.
Well, Nebraska has now scored. It is 22-15 in the 4th quarter in the Orange Bowl.
Georgia still got a chance.
They got 9 minutes to play in Miami. First down, Pittsburgh.
Dawkins had to come in close and get the audible.
He's looking at him. He goes short over the middle, and the ball is incomplete as he drills Thomas on the numbers. He really threw it hard, and Brian couldn't hang on to it and took a hard lick. Again, I want to tell you that Collins has not caught a pass today. The flanker, Dwight Collins, has not caught a single pass today.
I think we can explain that a little bit by the fact that Georgia is double teaming Collins on every down along with Dawkins, but Dawkins being the weak side, split in, gets open a little more into the boundary.
See, Thomas is shaken up, and there's the time remaining in the ball game. The score there on the left. It is 2nd down and 10 for Pittsburgh. The ball is near the Georgia 38. Thomas in this game has run the ball 26 times for 130 yards. He's caught 5 passes for 48 yards. And if I were voting, I'd vote him the MVP.
He's leaving the game because they want to conserve the timeout. If he stays in the ball game, the timeout is charged against Pittsburgh. Going out of the game, substituting is charged against the officials.
And they only have 1 left. 2nd and 10. Georgia trying defensive bunch trying to gut it out here against dangerous Dan Marino. There's the screen set up for the fullback, DiBartola. Did he fumble it?
Yes, he did. Pitt got it back. Well, the Georgia defense are coming up much better this half and tackling the receivers on the short passes.
Collins covers the loose ball.
We can see right here, number 42, Forts knocks the ball out.
No, it's 27, Harris.
That's right, 27. Forts had his arms around him. Harris, number 27.
It's 3rd down and 4.5, close to 5. Short drop. Marino sets up now. He's looking for the man over the middle, and he can't get him. It's incomplete. Dawkins was trying to come back to help his quarterback, and he couldn't find his way through traffic.
And Fort, the linebacker closest to the line of scrimmage, deflected the ball, Keith, to prevent the completion.
Now there's your time. Georgia, the defensive kids have just...
They fought their heart out.
like the Dickens.
Golly.
I tell you right now, when you can come in here and play this much defense, and they have been on the field virtually the whole second half, and this Pittsburgh team is a big, strong, tough, talented football team with a most dangerous weapon. They have now just spent the last time out as Marino goes over to talk. The executive producer, Rune Arledge, our producer of this game, Chuck Howard, and Andy Sedaris. They've produced and directed all of our college games this year with Johnny Allen, our TD, Ben Harvey, our AD, and Bobby Armbruster. And a rundown of the unit managers, assistant to our producer, Garland Feet, researcher Jerry Klein, and statistician Mike Swanson. It is a long list of fine people who work hard, and we're particularly proud to be associated with them because they're all pros. As Tomahawk, the video operators, graphics, our cameramen, some of them come from the east, many of them come from the west. Videotape operators, maintenance guys that make it all work, transportation people who move it around. Great bunch. It's fun to work 10, 12, 15 years with these kind of people, I tell you.
Keith, I've only worked 5 years, and I've learned very quickly they're great craftsmen. They do a tremendous job of bringing this exciting college football to the fans across the United States.
It is 4th down for Pitt. 4th and 4.5. Could be the last play for him. Marino goes deep. Brown, touchdown! John Brown makes a great catch with 35 seconds to play. Jackie Sherrill trying to get them off the field so they won't be penalized.
They've already been penalized, Keith.
I guess they have.
Yeah, the bench has already thrown the
Who
flag.
cares? I don't blame him.
Tremendous throwing catch. Georgia went into the blitz, a full blitz, making the safety man and quarterback play man for man with only 35 seconds left on the clock. I know that Georgia wishes they had the defense back and they defended. But that's when we see it again, you're going to see Brown, who was a wide receiver, came to Pittsburgh weighing 185 pounds.
The extra point try is up and good. A 33-yard touchdown pass. Marino to Brown, and the Panthers have it 24-20 with 35 seconds to play, and here's the touchdown.
You can see the blitz. Marino dropped very deep. He puts air on the ball, hangs it up. You can see Kelly, number 23, the safety man was beaten by the tight end Brown for the touchdown. Watch the blitz. Watch Marino plant that back foot and put air onto that ball and let Brown, the tight end, run under the ball for the touchdown before Harris can come back and try to help.
Give Brown full
Now
credit
you see
here, though,
Brown.
Frank, because he takes a heck of a hit just as the ball gets there.
You can see that Brown, he has good speed, 4.6 for a tight end. He takes a little fake, and he turns Kelly. He turns him around on the fake. Kelly, the safety man, number 23, his feet. There's the question whether Harris, the right back, halfback, can come over and make the play. He can't, but he does hit Brown, but Brown holds on to the ball for the touchdown. Golly, is that a fitting end to college football season?
On 4th down, and almost 5.
35 seconds left for the Bulldogs. 80 yards, 11 seconds to move 80 yards. Boy, Pittsburgh had a lot of points.
Georgia has 2 timeouts remaining now. see what Schubert does in the kickoff. He's been knocking it pretty deep. We've got Norris and Walker deep. Norris at the 6. And he's out with the 30.
Let's look at Brown. Remember, tight end. Watch the move to the left. He makes a little move, and Kelly bites. He takes the fake. He has to turn around, and he loses the depth, and Brown gets in behind him for the touchdown.
So you've got 29 ticks remaining on the clock for Georgia. Ballou back. Pressure's on. Runs away from it. Gets it off over the middle. It is intercepted. It is picked off by Troy Hill. And that stops the clock at 17 seconds to play. And this 48 Sugar Bowl game should belong to the Pittsburgh Panthers. Just short of Georgia locking it up on a 4th down and 4.5. Marino goes 33 yards down the middle to his tight end. The point is good. And Georgia's hopes for repeating as national champions have just gone a-glimmering.
Keith, it's been a well-played football game, except for a few penalties because of the noise level in the dome here. Marino showed great poise. Pittsburgh's offense felt they could score, and they did. Georgia defense held out the very last before the bomb hit them when they jumped into man-for-man coverage and tried to blitz Marino on 4th and 4.
Marino is one completion short of the Sugar Bowl record.
Keith,
26 out of 41.
I want to mention one thing. 62 of the 67 Pittsburgh players listed on the roster will be back next year.
Including Marino.
Including Dan Marino, all of the receivers.
Penalty flag thrown here as the clock stops at 13 seconds to play. Pitts just trying to run it out, and Jack is trying to keep his troops off the field here so they don't get flagged themselves. Procedure against Pittsburgh. I know one thing. They've set an all-time Sugar Bowl record for procedure calls.
Oh, me. I don't know what you can do about the crowd noise, Keith. I really don't. All the coaches that have played in any dome in the United States complain about it.
Well, I think the problem in
illegal formation, offense.
Part of the problem comes when you are a team like Pitt where you line up so spread out.
Yes, the wide receivers move. What Keith's talking about, the wide receivers move outside close to the boundary. When the ball's on one hash mark, the receiver is about 40 yards to the left of the center.
So what this amounts to is what we're saying is Pittsburgh survives 14 penalty flags and they win the football game as the clock runs out by a score of 24-20, and Jackie Sherrill is getting the ride. We can find our partner Bill Fleming in that melee. I'm sure he's going to talk to a very happy Jackie Sherrill.
It's awful hard to get in here because Sal Sunseri is giving Jackie the biggest hug he ever had in his life. Jackie, turn over here for a second. Oh, wait a minute. He wants to see Coach Dooley. He wants to see Coach Dooley for a minute. Here they are. Jack, I know the emotion that must be in your heart in winning this one, probably the biggest victory in your career.
There's no question about it. You know, all year long we got better, and then we certainly, I think, when we had a disappointing loss against Penn State, everybody had to reach back and get some. You know, like I said, you know, our players are winners. They've been winners. Some of our players only lost one game. Some only lost 3. Some only lost 2. And it took, even when they got down today, they still had to suck some back up, stay there, and just keep coming back, and they did. They never quit, and they're really a great football team.
How about that last play, that heart thumper in the end zone?
Well, you got to give Danny and certainly John Brown credit on that play. Danny knew that he had one play left, so he went back 13, 14 yards on the snap instead of a regular 9 yards, and he read the field, and he just hit John, and John did a great job.
Boy, I can tell you they're tearing Pittsburgh apart right now.
Well, I hope they are. And, you know, you got to give the players credit because, you know, we got tired. They still kept fair, but they did a great job.
Congratulations to your team.
Thank you. Thank you.
So that's it, a stirring victory for the Panthers, 24-20. And we'll be back for more here in the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans, where it is pandemonium. Pittsburgh has defeated number 2 Georgia.
Dan Marino is the most valuable player of this 1982 Sugar Bowl game as Pittsburgh defeats Georgia 24-20. Travel arrangements made through, promotional fee paid by United Airlines. United flies more people to Hawaii than any other airline. That's what friendly skies are all about. This is a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television.
You can